here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
After the Marine Corps, I was diagnosed with PTSD and became homeless for 15 years. Like a hermit living on the street, I just existed. I came to Wheeler Mission. Wheeler operates on a culture of kindness. Going through their programs reminded me that my meaning in life is to serve God. God set me free from anxiety and depression. Before Wheeler, I just existed, but today I live.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, find a location near you, now.
Hey conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks. We're trying to hear.
Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see if I did it?
IndianaSRN's coverage of the Morristown Holiday Tournament continues here this afternoon from Morristown High School. Our game number 5 featuring the cadets of Cascade High School taking on the Covenant Christian Warriors. This evening's broadcast is brought to you in part by IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences. Begin your journey today. The Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Burtner Electric, serving greater Indianapolis and the surrounding counties. Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation, we do it all. And by Reynolds Farm Equipment, serving our customers and the community since 1955. Clark Chafin is here. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's been a much longer day for these teams, Clark. They played earlier today, games at 10 o'clock, 11:30. You get a nice little break in between, and both these teams are going to need it because they both cruised to victories, and now they'll probably play one of their toughest tests of this entire season.
Yeah, holiday tournaments, a thing that have become more normal here recently in the last few years. Again, Cascade defeating Morristown 56-30, Covenant Christian with a 66-38 victory, as you mentioned earlier in the day. And, these two teams, with AAU being so prominent, they're probably used to playing more back-to-back games now than they were maybe 10, 15 years ago. It kind of reminds you of a semi-state setup where you play two games in one day, and it kind of helps you prepare for postseason play in that regards. But both teams with comfortable victories early on have a chance to maybe rest those legs and not have that fatigue factor play in as much as maybe some of the other squads in the other games or from earlier on.
First up, we'll look at the Warriors on this side wearing their away green jerseys for this contest. We had to go through a couple of number changes because we found out these jerseys are from last year.
I really like them, though.
I do, too. The away uniforms, we had a couple of guys that are mixed up a little bit. But for the Warriors, a team that you and I are both pretty familiar with, we've seen them multiple times. They've only had one loss this season so far with Coach Flatt. They're 7-1. This is his 18th year. He's got a lot of experienced guys that have played together for many years, juniors and seniors that are leading this ball club again to another good season.
Well, and it all starts with Tony Flatt, and we'll get into kind of some of those individuals. But you're right, Jarrett. They are a very balanced, well put together team. Have a great team chemistry. You can tell they like being around each other, and that helps that communication and that bond on the court as well. They have a lot of strengths. They're a very good outside shooting basketball team, and can really put up points in a hurry in a lot of different ways. But certainly when you're hot from behind the three-point line, you can accumulate points in a hurry and overcome any kind of deficit that you see.
You brought up Flatt. He's the team's leading scorer, but he's only at 13 points per game. So it's nothing flashy, nothing crazy. It is a full five-man effort. Whatever five guys are out on the floor for Coach Flatt, they can all score in a variety of ways. Their outside shooting is good, like you mentioned, but there really isn't that one go-to guy. It's whoever's open, get him the ball.
And they complement each other so much. And I think like Wyatt Wash, you have a 6'6 player, but he's more of a perimeter player, and you have Andrew Crane, who's kind of that crafty left-hander that leads them in rebounding and does all the little things and does them well, whether it's hitting shots from the perimeter or defensive rebounding or setting good screens, something very small that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. Those intangibles, a lot of these guys take pride in, and that makes them good at it.
Only averaging 55 points a contest, too. So, offensively, there's not really high firepower amongst this Warriors squad, but they make up for it with pretty good defense, and they'll need it against a pretty solid Cascade team that we will break down a little bit more when we return after our first break. This is game number 5 of the Morristown Holiday Tournament, a 2-day event. We'll step aside. We'll be back to talk about the cadets of Cascade.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Welcome back to the Hive, Morristown High School. This is the Morristown Holiday Tournament. We mentioned the Warriors of Covenant Christian, and now for Cascade, a team that we are seeing for the first time this season. They cruised in their win earlier today against the home team, Morristown. They limited the Yellow Jackets to just 30 points. They only needed 56 to score. Much like how Covenant Christian is, Clark, we get the sense that Cascade has a solid five-man starting lineup that all these guys can score in a variety of ways.
I totally agree with you, Jared. Just looking at the numbers from the cadets, they've got 7 players that average anywhere between 9 and 3 points. So that's a kind of a good thing and bad thing. It's a good thing in a sense that there's no one really to focus on and everybody can contribute. No one's going to maybe get all the touches and all the shots, but at the same time, I guess my question for the cadets would be, do you have a go-to when you really need a bucket? Who's your person to go to? Nick Parsons leads them at about 9 points per ball game. He's a junior. And you got Connor Sanders, who chips in about 7 points per game heading into today's action. So, maybe that's who Coach Carpenter looks to get a bucket. But, to your point, well-balanced. Like I said, 7 people in between 9 and 3, so you're getting contributions and that keeps your bench involved too, right? Those people not playing make sure that they're still in tune to the game.
This is also a fairly young team for Cascade and for Coach Carpenter, who's just in his second year coaching the cadets. He starts one senior in Mekhi Tharp, and then you have the two juniors, Nick Parsons, you mentioned. Jonas Johnson is going to get the start this afternoon. But then you have a sophomore and a freshman, Connor Sanders and Jude Johnson. So you got a little bit of a mixture. You mentioned how, you want to keep the guys on the bench into the game, but you also have that mixture of guys in the starting lineup that are both older and younger, guys who are more experienced, and then the younger guys that are trying to get some good solid reps here in this middle part of the season.
Yeah, and it was interesting. As I was looking at some of the stats, Cascade averages offensively and defensively 41 points per game heading into today. Their highest point total was 50 points in any contest up to this matchup, and then this morning they put 56 here on Morristown. So you got to feel that they're playing with a great deal of confidence in knowing that they put up 56 points. A lot of people got in and contributed, and they're going to need that confidence with a potent Covenant Christian team. Covenant Christian had forced 19 turnovers in their matchup earlier against Milan. So their pressure defense kind of took Milan out of what they wanted to do early, and they were able to coast.
A lot of similarities with these two teams, Clark. What keys do you think are most important for this game, whether it be bench points or we probably won't see a lot of teams get up and down a lot, so maybe fast break, turning turnovers into offense?
Well, since both teams, I feel like they're pretty rested from their morning games. I think legs and foul trouble, that shouldn't be an issue as far as mental fatigue and things like that. I think for Covenant, just be patient on offense. I think you're going to be able to get what you want, keep attacking, and then take advantage of. I feel like Covenant can be really patient on offense, but also they can score in bunches if they get rebound and they push the ball in the attack. So I'd like them to maybe do that. I think if you're Cascade, try to control those long rebounds. If Covenant's shooting from deep, you're going to get those long rebounds and long caroms. Make sure you block out and get that. And if you can get Tony Flatt in foul trouble, he's kind of the catalyst and runs a lot of their offense in that floor general on the floor, as he is from a coach's son. If they can get him in foul trouble, maybe get him out of the game. That could help the cadets.
There's a good overhead look of the home team that'll be on the scoreboard. That's Cascade with the white uniforms and the teal blue, almost Carolina blue.
I like
looking.
that color.
I do too.
It's a pretty color.
The cadets in white, the Warriors in green. Let's meet the starting lineups first for Cascade.
Junior guard number 21, Jonas Johnson. A forward guard, number 24, Jude Johnson. A senior forward, number 30, Mekhi Tharp. Sophomore forward, number 34, Connor Sanders. Coach for the cadets, David Carpenter. And now introducing the Covenant Christian Warriors, a senior guard number 2, Tony Flatt. A junior guard number 14, Jamison Laughlin. A senior guard number 11, Wyatt Walsh. Senior forward number 22, Andrew Crane. And junior forward number 35, Sam Ware. Coach for the Warriors, Scott Flatt. Referee for today's game is Nathan Prideaux, Thomas Boyd, and Jeff Cooper.
So there's the starting lineups for both ends. You can see one of the number changes was Jamison Laughlin. He's wearing number 10 this afternoon instead of his normal 14. Joe Midla wears 14, and then Isaac Niemeyer, who will come off the bench today, he wears number 20. So those are the number changes for Covenant Christian here at the Hive. Game number 5 about to get underway. Covenant Christian 7-1 on the year. Cascade comes in at 5-3, both teams winning their first game earlier today. Sam Ware is in the starting lineup, and he controls the tip for the Warriors. They'll move from left to right. We're underway.
Man-to-man, looks like early Jarrett here for Cascade, trying to match up with the Covenant Christian offense and see if they can keep them out of the paint.
Wash goes baseline to the corner. Laughlin, his corner three. That's good. A really good start for the Warriors of Covenant Christian.
Yeah, nice drive there by Wyatt Wash to draw the defense on the baseline, set up Laughlin in the corner for a nice jump shot. Good start here for the Warriors.
Different defense on this end for Covenant Christian. 2-3 zone with Flat and Laughlin controlling the top. Running the point for Cascade is Jude Johnson. He's just a freshman. Little shake and bake. Does not fall for Connor Sanders, but an offensive board for Cascade.
And to your point, Jared, if you're in a zone, it's going to be harder to block out a man. You're kind of blocking out areas, and you don't really get a body, so offensive rebounding is a big component.
Little floater gets the roll for Jude Johnson. The freshman scores first for the Cadets.
A nice little floater, got in the middle of the lane of the zone.
Flat down low on the block. Over his left shoulder, took a lot of contact, gets his own rebound though. And Crane able to get it back to Tony on the drive. That foul will be on the floor. Gonna go against, looks like Parsons. Instead, no, they'll call Jonas Johnson.
That's something Covenant really likes to do is get Tony Flat on the block, and he's one of their best probably post players in terms of post moves. Just a strong kid, and just couldn't finish there at the block.
First turnover, trying to get it into Ware. Parsons, one of the leading scorers, controlling that side of the floor. Deep left wing three. Parsons, that's good. His first shot attempt, and it was a long one. Wash quickly the other end. He gets swatted away. Parsons switches ends. This time he'll drive, a whistle, and we're heading the other way.
A good defense there by Andrew Crane, able to establish position and stay straight up. Didn't lean one way or the other. He was able to take the hit, but early on, Jarrett, both teams really shooting the ball well in terms of knocking down their shots.
Jonas Johnson takes a seat. Coming in for Cascade, Devin Weigel is in.
I think we got a clock issue. They're going to throw it back in bounds and take 2 seconds off. I think I heard the official say 5:40.
Wash, open at the top. Weigel is able to close out just in time. Crane will opt for the top of the key three, but it was way short. And Cascade off and running for the first time.
Those long rebounds that we talked about. There was a three there by Crane, and Cascade was able to block out and get control of that possession.
Real patient offense for Cascade.
Covenant content just to be in that zone. You got to be able to talk and communicate where cutters are and be able to match up as far as knowing where the offensive players are.
Parsons finds himself open for another three-point attempt. It's a miss. Offensive board. The putback is no good either from Tharp, and Wash controls the board. Flat posting up again. Him and Parsons. That's been the matchup. Crane with a nice shot fake.
Yeah, just good stingy defense there by the Cadets. Not allowing a clear look here by Covenant Christian.
Ware will step out. Too strong, and Wash knocked it out of bounds from behind. It'll stay with Cascade.
Good half-court defense by both teams, Jared. Both kind of stingy and contesting shots and making offense kind of difficult. Cascade's been very, very patient on this end in terms of trying to find what they want.
Quick passing, tipped into Weigel's hands. Parsons with the false start, and we'll head the other way.
Nice.
You like that?
I did.
First turnover committed by the Cadets. The universal referee signal.
I think about every sport that's a hand signal for some kind.
Is that in volleyball? Do they do that?
No, yeah, substitutions.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Crane going right at the defender. Misses the first one and the second one. Can he make the third? Yes. Andrew Crane ties it up at 5.
Nice job by Andrew Crane of just staying with it. It gets frustrating when you can't get that over the front of the rim, and he jumped back up quick. Uses that left hand. He is a left-handed.
Crane averages 7 points, 5 boards for the Warriors. Parsons finds a cutting Weigel, who sends it back up top, and a long drawn out little floater shot that ends up going good for Sanders.
Yeah, he kind of used it was kind of a Euro step in a way, in the sense that just took some big long strides and was able to create some space and make that shot.
Flat driving kick. Laughlin is 2 for 2 from beyond the arc.
And now we got some offense picking up. Laughlin is second 3 from opposite corner that time.
Gives the lead to the Warriors. Under 2 minutes left in our opening quarter. Parsons gives it up. Sanders has it knocked away. Stolen by Laughlin. Up with the right hand, and Flat followed through, and he got fouled. I may have thought Laughlin was going to earn a trip to the line, but it'll be Tony Flat with 2 free throws.
Yeah, I thought Laughlin did a really good job as we take a look at this replay here on the offensive part. Driving kick by Flat. Laughlin just spotting up and catching that ball in rhythm and knocking down that corner 3 as Flat makes the first free throw.
Entering in for the Cadets, number 12, Drake Dobson.
Drake Dodson has checked in. He replaces Jude Johnson. Now Flat going through his usual motion, but the second free throw off the mark. No substitutions made yet for Covenant Christian. 2 on the side for Coach Carpenter and Cascade.
It's really been a clean first quarter, Jared. We haven't had a whole lot of fouls, a whole lot of turnovers. Just some missed shots, as I say that. There's a turnover by Cascade, and the other way.
Laughlin got it down to the block. Flat will try a 3. It's good. That corner has been terrific. Back-to-back triples for Covenant Christian in that spot.
A little 7-0 run here by Covenant. And he gives himself a 12-7 lead here with under a minute to play.
Cascade led for most of the beginning of this first quarter. Dodson will try to answer, but well off the mark from our vantage point. Weigel tracks down the offensive rebound. Down low, Crane over to the left shoulder. Good defense after the missed shot from Tharp, and he follows it up with a foul.
The old frustration foul, 80 feet from the basket after you miss a shot. That kind of happens. 4th team foul now on Cascade.
Entering in for the Warriors, number 23, Paxton Bacon.
Paxton Bacon, the first substitution for Covenant. Jude Johnson has checked back in. This first quarter brought to you in part by Aspen Creek Grill. Feel like treating someone special to a delicious meal from Aspen Creek Grill. Great food, great atmosphere, located in Noblesville, Indiana. Flat may try to do it all himself. Instead, he'll kick it out to the newly checked in Paxton Bacon. The 3-pointers are raining down for Covenant.
Well, and it's all coming from inside out. All 3 of their 3-pointers have came from paint touches where they've been drive to the baskets and kicked out.
5 seconds. Johnson out to Weigel. Now 2 on the drive. Left it short. Wyatt Wash from full court. How about the finish to that first quarter for Covenant Christian? 15-7. They lead the Cadets heading to quarter number 2.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
is very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Can't complain when you close out the first quarter on a 10-0 run. That's what Covenant Christian did. 3 3-pointers and a free throw. 4 total threes made in that first quarter.
And we get a little adjustment out of the zone trapping right away. Leads to a turnover as Bacon gets to the right spot, drops down to the zone, and intercepts the pass.
That's the 4th Cascade turnover. Bacon stays out there. Flat, another 3. That's his 2nd.
And that's what we talked about pregame show, right, Jarrett, that, when they start hitting threes and it comes in bunches, they really extend and can really put points on the board in a quick way.
Something about the Hive has Covenant Christian shooting it hot.
Could you say they're a buzz?
They are. Weagle was able to track down the loose ball. Johnson sees good help side defense. Parsons deep in the corner. Boy, how does he not hit the side of the backboard? Good shooting from Parsons. That's his 2nd 3. And a 30-second timeout right after that from Coach Carpenter.
Yeah, a nice 3 there by Parsons. It kind of broke that 13-0 run. Now kind of gives his team a little chance to reset. Covenant has made an adjustment here at the beginning of the second quarter. They've trapped that first pass on the sideline. So he wants to make sure his squad's prepared in case they come back down with another possession of that.
First half brought to you in part by Industrial Sales Associates. They've been an electromechanical component manufacturer's representative for Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Michigan, and Eastern Tennessee for many, many years. Good luck to all teams during this sports season. For more information about Industrial Sales Associates, contact Rich at 317-546-1900.
Another view of that flat penetration to the middle of the defense and kick out to Bacon for 3. 4 3-pointers.
Flat, trying to score on the block this time. Humbert flies through. But his shot was deflected. Good recovery by Sanders and company.
Good both offense and defense, I thought there. I thought it was a good take by Flat, and I thought Cascade did a nice job of reacting to the Humbert rebound.
Parsons resets. Coach Carpenter wants a new look offensively.
Kind of a matchup zone here. Notice how they're in a man-to-man, but they're kind of switching in those areas. You can watch as Weininger's in there. He'll go ahead and take the Woos on top, and they'll kind of switch off and on.
Dodson picks up his dribble. Weininger all over him. Johnson stays patient, finds an opening, a nice dish down to Weagle for the finish.
And there was a play where they didn't switch, and look what happened. He got all the way to the basket in the middle, and they had to have help, and the post feed was right there to the block.
Flat, wide open off the screen from Bacon. Nearly another good 3 for Tony. And they're trying to get Flat the ball in many different ways, whether it's a screen, setting up a 3-pointer, or putting him down on the block.
Yeah, and he can score at all 3 of those levels, too. He likes to take it aggressively on his drive. I'd like to see him maybe give it a little jump stop about 10 and 15 feet away from the basket, just right there.
Good strip by Weininger. Flat the other way, dishes over to Bacon. Tony Flat is rounding up the assists in our very first half.
Well, I like how it was a bounce pass. If that was a chest pass, that's going to get deflected. Flat throws a bounce pass and leads Bacon right to the basket.
Bacon now has 5 points. Tony has 7. Jamison Laughlin with 6 to lead the scoring. Covenant first team to 20. Parsons catch and shoot.
Deep.
Very deep and Flat. They are just in time to maybe affect it slightly. Parsons going for the steal. Flat will kick out Bacon. Around and out. Foul. Going to call on, looks like it's Humbert. He came in from behind.
And let's take a look at there's that bounce pass, leads Bacon right, keeps it in stride, kind of like a football quarterback, throwing him open, right? And then exactly the same concept, continues to lead Bacon to the basket, uses a left hand off the glass.
Cadets trying to put a cut into this deficit. That won't do it from Weigel, and ball still loose, picked up by Weininger. He's got numbers. Bacon, Euro step, up with the left.
Ooh. Kind of thought he outsmarted himself there. Just kind of goes straight up into that defender and absorb that contact.
Parsons, tough shot, nearly stuck it in between the rim and the backboard. Flat. Nice underhand toss to Weininger, and he took a bump from somewhere. It's going to be called on Jude Johnson. 5 team fouls for Cascade, just 1 so far for Covenant.
Yeah, and with only a combined, 5 turnovers or so from each team. It's been a pretty fast first half of action.
Niemeyer and Farrell have checked in for Coach Flat. Here's his son Tony up with the right, gets it to roll. Tony Flat's got 9 points.
He gets his shoulders by you, Jarrett, and he's just so strong, and he can just, because of that strength and the ability, that just first step quickness, that he can finish at the rim.
Here he is, outguarding on Jude Johnson. Johnson can't get around him. He does wrap the pass around, and they go around the horn. Sanders creates some space and a little flick of the wrist. Sanders has 4 points now.
Nice move by Condor. Sanders under control. A lot of times you see a bigger player with the ball on the perimeter. Might be a little out of control. That time came to a nice jump stop and finished.
Illegal screen away from the ball on Farrell. 8-point lead for the Warriors.
And take a look at Sanders' move. Just comes to a jump stop after he created some space on the stop. Goes up with a nice soft touch.
Crane has come back in. Final 2:40 of our first half.
Another change in defense. Looks like they're kind of back into that 2-3. We've seen a variation of a trap here in this quarter, and then some matchup zone, and now back to just more of a traditional kind of a 2-3 zone.
Now Weininger and Niemeyer are at the top of the 2-3. Flat has moved down to one of the blocks. Sanders may have walked with it, but he kicks out, and Crane has the rebound. Two screens for Niemeyer. Farrell, nice cut. May have been a foul on the other end of it, but Weininger converts after a good backdoor.
Good job by Weininger of keeping moving. The old give and go. The defense relaxed as soon as he threw the ball, and he cut baseline. It was a nice hard cut, which gave him that step advantage and was able to get that basket.
Toby Savini has it now, top of the key. Parsons on the bench for the moment. Really good defense by the Warriors on, except a foul committed that time by Niemeyer.
Yeah, very physical there on the drive as Johnson was trying to create some sort of offense. I can see them maybe move the ball more with the pass instead of the dribble, get that defense to shift and change.
Another turnover by Cascade. Flat up the floor to Niemeyer. the trailing Crane. Final minute, Cascade trying to keep this under 10. See if the Cadets opt to try to burn most of this remaining clock. Savini, Flat able to recover.
Yeah, nice defensive recovery there by Flat. And, you know, second game of a tournament like this, you're going to see a lot of defenders use their hands. Nice for Flat to use his feet. It's a nice 3-point there before the half.
That's Toby Savini. He's just a freshman, and his first shot attempt is a big one. Cascade could go to the locker room trailing by 7.5. That's felt like it's been dominated in almost every aspect from Covenant Christian, this man being one of the reasons. Flat kicks it into the corner. Cascade with a heave from Sanders off the backboard, and that is our halftime buzzer. 24-17, the Warriors lead it. They trailed early on in that first quarter, but the hot shooting from outside gave him a lead that got to as big as 10 points.
Yeah, and I like the way how Coach Flat mixed up his defenses there in the second quarter to throw a little confusion. We talked about how Cascade doesn't have a lot of seniors out there, and that you got a freshman point guard, so just trying to give him different looks. You go out in the second quarter, you trap out of your zone, you go to a little bit of a matchup zone, and then finish it back in what you did in the first quarter. So 3 different looks that they've given the Cadets so far in this half.
Ref Reps, a proud sponsor of our first half on IndianaSRN. They partner with numerous state high school associations. They're helping officials hone their skills and promote unity in the officiating world. Contact refreps.com for more information. 9 first half points for Tony Flat. He's the leading scorer across the board, and his team is up 24-17 at the half. Game number 5 of the Morristown Holiday Tournament. We'll return with the second half after a couple of messages. You're watching IndianaSRN.
Without the basket, the sport of basketball would just be ball, and no one wants to play with balls if baskets aren't involved. So in this video, we're going to go over the history and evolution of the basket. A little while back, we talked about the history of the ball, so you know where to go if you want to watch that video. This is a basket-only program. Basketball was invented in the winter of 1891. James Naismith wanted to invent a sport that can be played indoors during the wintertime at YMCA, and so he did just that. He created the first basketball hoop with a broken peach basket that he placed 10 feet into the air. Why 10 feet, you might be wondering? Well, there's no significant reason for the sport itself. This was more so a coincidence, as he hung the peach baskets on the railing of the indoor running track at the YMCA gym in Springfield, Massachusetts, and that railing was 10 feet off the ground. Of course, that height stuck for the majority of its history, but what did change significantly is the basket. The baskets at or around this time had no hole and needed a ladder to be scooped out, or when they did add a hole a few years later, there was a tiny hole at the bottom that had to be poked out with a staff. By the year 1893, it was time to add a backboard, but the backboard was not invented for the players. It was invented to stop fans in the balcony from interfering with the ball. They were originally made out of chicken wire, so these weren't really effective for bank shots or rebounds. But that didn't stop players from trying to utilize the backboard, because on February 2nd in that same year, a box on the backboard was added, and this was used to assist players to aim towards the basket, but the chicken wire was starting to be an issue. So we fast forward to the start of the 20th century. The basket became a net, and in 1901, the net had a metal rim. But the net also had no bottom, so after every shot was made, someone had to come and poke the ball out. And man, what the heck is chicken wire still doing here? Thankfully, by the year 1904, wooden boards became mandatory. And finally, by the year 1906, the grand invention of cutting a hole at the bottom came into fashion, and we got the first tangible net with a solid backboard. In 1909, glass boards became more and more common, and this newfound strength slowly but surely led to something you may know as the dunk. By the year 1912, we finally got the iconic nylon net. So now when a shot is made, you can hear that crisp whooshing noise with that beautiful sound of a nothing but net basket. Now that's not why they were made. They weren't made to have an amazing noise. This design with the thick knots and the strong nylon just allowed the ball to fall directly in the center and not flop around after a score was made. As the sport of basketball became more and more popular, recreational and even professional sports leagues started to form. And these leagues wanted to create regulated dimensions for the backboard, backboard square, and rim. The NCAA and the NBA at the time thought it would be a great idea to have the same regulations. These regulations are a 6 feet wide and a 3.5 feet tall backboard. As for the square, it needs to be 24 inches wide and 18 inches tall. The line of the square needs to be 2 inches thick, and the square needs to be placed at the center above the rim. As for the rim needs to extend 6 inches from the backboard, and the front part of the rim must be 24 inches from the backboard, which leaves an 18-inch diameter for the ball to fall through. This was the norm for the main bulk of basketball history, but during the 1950s, it was not uncommon for the hoops to be 12 feet tall instead of 10, even in the NBA. In 1954, the Hawks and Lakers played a game with 12-foot rims, and you can thank this achievement to NBA legend George Mikan. He was so good at the game, the league wanted to make it more of a challenge for him. But only the opposite happened. The shorter players had an even harder time scoring, and Mikan had no problem scoring on 12 feet. So the hoop returned to its 10 feet standard. Beyond that point, the hoop stayed relatively the same, but a lot of power dunkers kept breaking the hoops with their amazing dunks. So around the 80s, hydraulic systems were implemented into the hoop, so if they do crash, the hoop would come down slowly. This was a nice idea until a man named Shaquille O'Neal came to town. In 1993, Shaq was busting these hydraulic hoops, so the NBA had to weld the hoops from the base to be even stronger. And now the hoops are almost indestructible, but every now and then we get some power dunkers to damage these hoops. For example, DeAndre Jordan was able to bend the rim, and Dwight Howard was able to knock the shot clock off of its balance. But beyond that, it is getting harder and harder to break a modern NBA hoop. Maybe Zion Williamson might have the Hulk-like strength to force the next evolution in hoop strength, but until then, this has been the evolution and history of the basketball hoop.
Back here at the Hive, Morristown High School, the Morristown Holiday Tournament. It's halftime. Covenant Christian leads 24-17 over Cascade. Pleasure to be joined by one of Indiana's finest officials, Carmen Hawk. Step in over here to talk to us a little bit about why we need officials in the IHSAA. So why do we need officials in the IHSAA?
If you look at the average age of officials, it's over 55.
Yeah.
And there's more and more kids playing games, and officials are getting a little burnout, I think, on a lot of things.
Oh,
and we're trying to get in younger officials. We've got some new classes, the IHSAA, and the high schools have teamed up, and there's an Officiating 101 course out there, and those kids can get a provisional license and work lower level games, get paid for it, get a high school credit. So the IHSAA is trying to work on getting some new officials out there.
Gotcha. And you're not wearing the stripes today, but you're working the scoreboard and the clock for this game.
Yes.
So how long have you been officiating, and what got you into wanting to become an official?
This is my 22nd year of officiating. I do volleyball, basketball, and softball. And actually in high school, my athletic director said, Carmen, we need more female officials. And I had never really even thought about it, and she said, I think you'd be good at it. So I went and took my test, and voila, here I am 22 years later.
Awesome. Now, are you more like no nonsense, or are you pretty laid back how Keith is? Because Keith, when he was official, he was pretty like nonchalant, just who cares, whatever.
No, I'm pretty by the book, and don't give me any crap.
Okay, right.
If it's more of a blowout game, I'll be a little more laid back. But yeah, I'm pretty strict on what.
Nice. Now, you see it in the professional levels too, but there are a lot more. You mentioned being a female official, and there's not very many, but you look all across the board, any sport, any level, whether it's professional or college, there are definitely more female officials.
Oh yeah, now in the NBA, there's like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And they're promoting that, but I'm happy where I am at the high school level. I did a little bit of college when my kids were little. I have 3 kids, and the oldest is a sophomore now, and he's playing on Morristown's team. And my daughter's an 8th grader, and then I have a 7-year-old. So I'm a mom first, and my officiating is kind of scaled back. But so the college has scaled back too, and I don't work that anymore. But maybe once they're out of high school and stuff, I might go back to that. But.
Right, of course. So you're going to be, after a little bit longer, your kids are going to get older, you're going to start to step away from it. So what is your message? How would you like to promote wanting to see more kids start to get in the officiating world?
First of all, I got my license right out of high school. And so many guys say, I wish I would have done that. It is a great part-time job. You can work around your college schedule. You can block dates. You can't, make it $80 on a night, and you can't work it at McDonald's for
Of course.
Okay, well, my time is running out here.
That looks like it. Players are back out on the floor. Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it very much. Carmen Hawk, official with the IHSAA. Thank you so much. And now she's going to head down, and she's got to run the clock. Keep this game rolling. We're going to send Clark down there. Clark, you would have had to operate the clock for the rest of the game because I think Carmen, she wanted to take your job.
Well, I tell you, if that was the case, probably something would have been screwed up from a clock standpoint. I'm not going to lie. I'd probably get so immersed in watching the game that I'd either forget to start it or stop it. But what a good first half we had, especially if you're Covenant Christian. Got off to an 18-7 lead and lead by 7 at half. Controlled the ball, controlled the tempo. You got Flat with 9 points. Laughlin with 6. Baxton Bacon off the bench with 5. I think if you're Cascade, Jarrett, you got to get in some of your offense thinking a little bit quicker. You've scored 7 points and 10 points. If you could get some defensive misses and use that into some early game transition and create some early offense, I think that's something that would benefit the Cadets here in the second half.
It'll be the Warriors that begin with the basketball. Same starting 5, and wide open. The find from Flat, the finish for Ware.
Ware all alone. You had 2 people flying at Flat, and he was able to, in the quick ball reversal, find Ware underneath all alone.
And now Ware running all over the half-court line, trying to cause some more havoc, create some more turnovers. Covenant Christian forcing 5 in that first half, and they only committed 1. Foul. Little hand check from behind, going to go against Laughlin.
And Savini has started the second half for the Cadets to try to get a little more ball handling and maybe some firepower. He hit a 3 there in that first half.
Tharp is not out there to start the second half. He did not score at all in the first half. Nick Parsons led the way with 6. Weigel, he's also starting in the second half, and his shot is too strong off the glass. Flat with some trailers. He had his option, both sides. He goes to the left side with Laughlin.
A nice left hand by Laughlin. That's just a 11-man break that you do in practice. A little 3-on-2, just breaking it down. Then you can set up your half-court 1-3-1 trap.
Weigel wide open. Cannot answer.
Good block out there by the Warriors, and ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be Covenant ball.
Also notable is Parsons. He's not out there to begin half number 2.
That's your leading scorer with averaging almost 9 points per contest, and he's leading them in the first half with 6 on 2 threes.
Ware extends the floor. Everybody getting a touch for the 7-1 Covenant Christian Warriors. Wash, reach-in foul.
Yeah, look for Wash to be more offensive-minded. He didn't have any points there in that first half, and he's the second leading scorer for Covenant Christian. So look for him to be a little more offensive-minded as this third quarter unfolds.
First free throw is good. That's a good start. 5 made threes in that first half, Clark, and Wash didn't have an attempt.
Yeah, and he's one of their main 3. It leads them in three-point percentage. So, yeah, for him not to. But from an offensive standpoint, they were great passes. They were passes off the drive, paint touches, if you will, and really good looks on all 4 of those knockdowns.
Covenant's lead has extended to a game-high 12 points. Cascade yet to score to begin our third quarter.
And I think give credit to Covenant defense. They've made the offensive end very difficult and challenging for Cascade.
Lob pass, Wash nearly batted away. Should have been an easy bunny for Tharp. And luckily for the Cadets, they'll have another crack at it.
Yeah, Flack got in there and got in the scrum, so to speak, but it kind of off his shoe out of bounds, and it'll belong to Cascade. Look for a little flex screen here.
Catch and shoot, no hesitation, and it rims out for Johnson. Wash. Crane doesn't use the screen. Flat with a nice jab step. With Flat, you talk about that explosiveness, that first step, and he throws that jab at you.
Yeah, he's just got a very quick first step. I mean, he's fast. I wouldn't say call him the quickest, but he is very fast. But, boy, if you can just that little hesitation and change your speeds, and once he gets those shoulders by you, then you're at his mercy.
Sam Ware, his three.
Sam Ware.
That's dangerous. Ware didn't score at all in the first half. He's got 5 points early third quarter. Tharp lobs it to the other block, and Weigel.
Nice job of Weigel of keeping the ball above his head and going up strong.
Weigel's got 4 points. Flat. His shot doesn't fall, and Weigel has the board.
I think those are opportunities. When you see inside miss bunnies, those are tired legs from just maybe playing earlier.
Tharp, he'll step out. Nothing but net from Makai Tharp. It's his first bucket.
15-point lead, 5 quick points.
Flat, doesn't get the roll.
And here's that transition that we mentioned at halftime. Don't let that half-court defense set up. Get some baskets in early game.
Johnson, back-to-back threes for Cascade, and all of a sudden, I think the hot shooting is on this end of the floor.
It
Clark.
is.
All the threes.
Softer rim on that side, maybe. I don't know. No, but nice little run here by Cascade.
From our right, the threes are falling down. Cascade has cut the deficit down to 7.
And again, you have Weigel driving into the paint to kick out for that three by Jude Johnson. Jude Johnson's first three now has 5, and a 15-point lead is now down to 7. And again, getting looks in transition. And here was another kick out again from that painted area was Weigel, really kind of initiating the offense from the inside out. And the three ball is going to get the Cadets potentially back in this game, now only down 7.
Jack Cherry Insurance Agency is a proud sponsor of broadcasts on IndianaSRN. We suggest you contact his team for all your insurance needs, whether it's family, car, business, or home. An insurance company to serve you. 317-894-7000. Got to give a nod to the DJ.
I'm telling you,
building.
they've played some really good music,
Yes,
at least since
have.
I've been in here. For Game 4, I got to watch a little bit of Game 4, and I was impressed.
We got some oldies. We got some newbies. We got some classic rock, some country music. Second chance, Joe Midla. His first action tonight.
Yeah, good job of Midla of staying with that play. He missed the first one, but didn't hang his head. Came back right after it and made a good play.
That ends the run that Cascade was going on. Here's a nice jump ball forced by Crane. The arrow points to the direction of the team in white.
Andrew Crane, very smart there. He was sliding his feet, just getting a defensive position and able to make a play on the ball because he was in the right spot on that spin move.
Dodson gets it back. Cascade will reset.
You know, Jared, I think one of the reasons why Covenant is so good on the defensive end, you can just hear them talking, communicating, whether it's the players on the floor or even the bench. But a nice three again.
That's Drake Dodson in stride. Planted that left foot, turned and faced towards the bucket. Here's a tough drive. That was Laughlin.
Yeah, Jamison Laughlin puts him in double figures with 10. That was a really nice drive.
Parsons is back out there. A pretty lengthy sit on the bench to begin this third quarter.
Yeah, for your leading scorer, but, you know, look what they done with him when he was out. They've cut it to inside, you know, double digits.
Good entry pass.
Inside the single digits, rather.
Sanders down to Weigel. Ooh. Crane. Pretty good ball handler for his size. And Crane staying patient, tries to tip it back up and in. He gets a third opportunity, and that's what happens when Cascade doesn't box out.
And good job by Crane of just sticking with it, but I think, Jared, you just made a good point. Cascade just turning. You got to get a body on someone, and then you got to take 2 or 3 steps back. You got to use your legs and get down low and create some space between yourself and the rim.
Weigel off a screen, rejected by Crane. 22 v. 22, and the man in green wins that one.
And Crane with his left hand, he's already on the right-hand side shooter, but if we take a look at this Laughlin layup, it was a nice drive, and he switched. Looked like he got a little shot on the head as well, absorbed that contact, and finished.
That's what all that hair's for,
That's
though.
Right. Little added softness.
Yeah. Parsons trying to get him going. Nice little dump down to Sanders, where that's good offense.
That was a really nice, you know, Parsons was thinking a play ahead there. That was good anticipation by him, and knowing that the Covenant was going to contest that shot, and threw a nice bounce pass.
Sanders has 2 points in each quarter. Neff Farrell has it.
Oh,
Spin
nice.
move. That's good. The junior Farrell with his first touch.
Rocked him to sleep to the middle and drop step baseline. Neff Farrell, you do something. That was nice.
16 third quarter points for Covenant Christian. Cascade has kept up with them. Trailing by 8 at the moment, and Parsons will wait for the right time to attack. Weigel sees an opening, takes advantage. 3 seconds for Covenant. Far side, spin move from the volleyball line. Off the mark from Weininger. A much better, faster pace third quarter. Covenant still leads. They're up by 6 as we head to quarter number 4.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Warriors still lead. It's 40-34 in our 5th game of the Morristown Holiday Tournament. This quarter brought to you in part by Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe, a new spot for breakfast or lunch. They're open Wednesday through Sunday, located at 6427 Oak Landing Road in Lawrence, Indiana. You can carry out with Tam's. Call 317-760-1640. The Warriors will have the basketball to start our 4th quarter. a quarter where Cascade scored the same amount of points as they did in the entire first half.
Yeah, and they got the ball in transition, got some easier looks, but how about Paxton Bacon off the bench now with 8 points.
That's the second three for Paxton Bacon.
And what a good answer right out of the time, or right out of the half, right, to start your fourth quarter, rather.
7 made threes for the Warriors, and really they haven't shot that many. They haven't missed very many threes. Feels like they have much more than 7. Sanders, can he make a three? No, it bounces off the rim and flat with a good box out. Tony, his team has a 9-point lead, and he gets a foul. Going to be called on Jude Johnson.
Flat just doing it all there, getting the rebound and putting pressure on the defense. But again, not a whole lot of team fouls when you look at the from that standpoint. Only 2 team fouls for Cascade, only 1 for Covenant. So if we kind of get to an end of the game situation, Jarrett, where someone's going to need to foul to extend the game, we're going to have to probably make up some fouls to at least to this point right now.
Yeah, very few whistles, fouls and turnovers. And there's a turnover, however, right there. That third quarter went by in a blur. Just the third team turnover committed by Covenant Christian this entire game. Cadets. It'd be nice to pick up some points off the turnover. Dodson down into Tharp, and now Sanders. A shot fake and a drive. He got fouled by Tony Flat.
Sanders has a really long wingspan, and he uses those long arms to his advantage there. I mean, just keeping it over his head and allowing him himself an opportunity to get the ball up on the glass and earn 2 free throws.
That was the first free throw attempt this entire game from Cascade, Clark.
It is.
Can you believe that? Have you ever seen that?
No, I mean, not until the fourth quarter. But you know, if you're Covenant, that's one thing your calling card is, right? What you hang your hat on there is from the defensive standpoint. And part of playing really good defense is playing good defense without fouling.
Sanders goes over. Flat, able to get it back. Tony took a lot of contact, and his dad saying they're chopping down. They're throwing the tomahawk down at us.
Well, I think most of the games that I've seen today here at the holiday tournament here at the Hive at Morristown, they've been very physical and not a whole lot of fouls called. They've really let them play. As I say that, Neff Farrell draws a foul.
That he does, and he will have free throws 5 and 6 for Covenant Christian. The foul was on Tharp of Cascade. That's his third.
And as a post player, that was really good on a lot of aspects, that last play, because Neff Farrell posted hard and had an angle, and the entry pass from the wing led Neff Farrell to the basket. So all he had to do was drop step. There wasn't much thinking in terms of what move to do. It was all feel. He did a good job of posting it up and getting that defender on his hip.
Farrell has an empty trip at the line. Still a 9-point Covenant Christian advantage. Dodson down into Weigel. Weigel sees some help from Farrell. Good extra pass. Johnson in the corner. That's no good. Fight for the rebound. Bacon gets tied up along with Jonas Johnson.
Good hustle by both teams. Tie it up, alternate possessions. Going to stay here with Cascade.
Weigel, he's out there with Dodson, the Johnson boys, and then you also have Connor Sanders. Sanders looking cross court. Jonas,
nice pass.
Really nice pass. Up and under goes Drake Dodson. That's hard to defend right there.
Pocket pass, bounce pass from the elbow, and then he was able to use the rim for protection. Then we got a turnover the other way.
They say Tony used his off arm to wrap around the defender, but another look at that nifty threading the needle pass from Johnson.
What a dime by Jonas Johnson from the pocket pass. And a finish.
Stuff like that just gets you fired up.
I love it. Good play.
Cascade, plenty of time. Trail by 7 with 5 to go.
Covenant again in that switching. It's kind of a matchup zone where they'll switch out of guard positions. Now you have Wash up top, so maybe they can take advantage of that. There you see the switch.
Good pass by Johnson. How about sharing the basketball? Picking up assists every which way you look for Cascade. Crane, he can't answer.
That was a good look. I mean, that was in transition. They were right there. Crane did everything you were supposed to do, just didn't finish.
Cascade has cut the lead down to 5.
I think this is as close as it's been. It was 36-30 at one point. This is as close as they've cut it for a while.
Another good cut, another good pass. And this time, Jude Johnson has the bucket, and it's another 2 points off of an assist. Coach Flatt has to call a timeout. His lead has evaporated down to 3 points. 3:50 on the clock, a 30-second timeout, which is brought to you by Jack's Donuts. Great donuts made fresh and served every day, plus great tasting coffee. Stop by Jack's Donuts at 9105 East 56th Street or any Jack's Donuts in your neighborhood. Jack's Donuts, the official donut of IndianaSRN.
It is. Official donut, sprinkle them all as we see this nice play. And if you see, nice left hand there by Johnson as he catches it in traffic and finishes with his left hand. It's now 43-40. It's a one-possession game. And at one point, Covenant was up 34-17, Jarrett. So this last 3:50, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out again. If we look at the game in terms of possession arrow, I believe the possession arrow favors Covenant. But if we also look at fouls, 3 fouls only for each team. So, you know, as physical as the game has been played, if you have to foul and you're trying to go for a steal, you might be able to get a steal in that situation.
Wash is on the floor with Crane, Weininger, Laughlin, and Flatt. Tony back down on the block. Foul on Johnson. Well, Coach Flatt has been looking for that foul call for quite some time now.
Well, that right there goes to show you, Jarrett, when Covenant needs a basket, when they need a point, who they're going to, and that's Tony Flatt on the block. And meanwhile, a nice cut there by Crane to get his 6 point.
Andrew Crane wide open on the slip, the out-of-bounds find. Flatt averages 6 assists. I think he's reached that mark this afternoon. So a good timeout for the Warriors. The lead's back up to 5, but it could get cut here. Johnson up with the left hand. That's good.
Hey, Jude, doing a lot. The young freshman for the Cadets.
He's got 9 points for Cascade. Trying to work on Tony Flatt. And now Crane. Boy, that's a good drive. He responds with a left hand of his own.
Yeah, make up for that miss he had earlier. You could tell there was some frustration on both him and Coach Flatt's part. There he was able to use that left hand as his dominant hand and finish.
Widespread scoring really on both ends for Covenant. Flatt has 9, Laughlin 10. Crane is kind of working his way up there with 8 points.
Flatt hadn't scored here the second half, so he's finding ways to create for others, as we said from his assist total.
Step back, thought about a 3 to Parsons. Covenant has had their taps on him for all this second half. Deflected there. Johnson was able to get it back, and now the younger Johnson with a good spin move in the paint. And a timeout called by Coach Carpenter. It'll be a full timeout. 47-44 is the score. Will be an exciting minute 47 to wrap up this one here in the Morristown Holiday Tournament.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Welcome back to the Hive. There's a look at Coach David Carpenter, second-year man. His team has fought their way back. They're only down by 3 points. How did they do it, Clark?
Well, the third quarter, they had a really good third quarter when they got down 15 and just starting to attack and not playing so – they start playing basketball, not so we got to go here and we got to run this offensive set and we got to run this offensive play. They just played loose and they played a little freer. They got back into the game, and now – you know, Jude Johnson has really, for Cascade, kind of taken over here in a little bit as far as finishing at the rim. It'll be an interesting last 90 seconds here to see how it all is going to unfold.
Dangerous entry pass and flat. Him and Parsons. Parsons falls down. Nothing's called. And Tony is into double digits with 11. More importantly, it's a 5-point lead.
Up to 2 possessions. You don't have to go hurry as fast as you can, but you got to get a good look here if you're Cascade.
Weigel was able to beat Ware off the dribble and use the white square on the backboard.
Nice take by Weigel. They cleared out the whole side for him. He jab step left, went to his dominant hand right side, the defender on his hip, and he was able to finish. And now we got a moving screen turnover.
It's on Crane. That's a big one. Still nowhere near the 1-and-1 mark. We're at 49 seconds. Jonas Johnson has come back in. Let's see what Cascade opts to do here. Go for a 2-pointer quick. Go for a 3-pointer quick.
I just think you just keep running your offensive stuff. You attacking the basket. I wouldn't settle for a 3 right here.
Crane all up in the grill of Weigel. Jonas Johnson.
If they let the clock run down, Jarrett, they're going to have to shoot a 3.
Johnson. Too strong. Wash with the rebound. And a quick foul to stop the clock at 11.8. Some big free throws. Actually, no. Yeah, we're nowhere near. Yeah, this is where you're you're in a really dangerous territory. You got to foul quickly twice if you're Cascade.
So if you're Cascade here on defense, you're going to have to face guard so the offensive or Covenant players can't see the ball. And you're going to have to switch everything and then be aggressive when it comes in, because they may just give you the steal if you try to knock it away. And if you're Covenant, just like that with Tony Flatt, just be strong with the ball, right? Catch it. Crane's going to be a good passer. He'll throw you open. Catch the ball, be strong. He's going to have to get a good screen and roll back to the basket, because you're the one that'll be over on the screen, on the roll.
A foul. And
really a smart, smart play there. No time goes off the clock as Jude Johnson picks up the foul. Now it's his 4th.
Best case scenario, you tag the 2 fouls and you only take off 1 second.
And Jamison Laughlin to the free throw line. And to your point that you mentioned earlier, Jarrett, there hadn't been a whole lot of free throw shot. Covenant 0 for 2 this half, and Neff Farrell's the only one that shot free throws this half.
They're 2 of 6 as a team.
Yeah, so big free throws here for Laughlin.
First one, it's well off the mark, but Crane has the offensive rebound. Andrew Crane fights for the loose ball and gets fouled. That takes 2 seconds off the clock.
And he'll go to the line for a 1-and-1 opportunity as well. So, because your team only has 4 fouls, he can be aggressive after that offensive rebound, because if he gets a foul, it's no big deal.
First free throw, it's out. Cascade. Good foul taken there by Laughlin, and here you got to be strategic on how you do it. You still have 1 foul left to give, and you got to think Coach Carpenter is going to talk about that here during this timeout.
Yeah, and that was a smart play by Covenant Christian in terms of fouling that early, and so if you're Coach Carpenter, you're maybe drawing up a play where it's only a 1 pass or it's a quick hitter. You got a sideline out of bounds situation. Ball's going to be about half court. So if you get something off a pass and then maybe at the top of the key or maybe a screen the screener type play to get a shooter open for 3, you got to think if you have a left-handed shooter maybe going to that left-hand side, it might be a little bit better of a shot. We'll see what happens here. Tharp's hit a 3. Dodson's hit a 3. Parsons has hit 2 threes. Savani's hit a 3. So you have a few options. But if you're Covenant with a foul to give, that's going to play into your hands, right?
Cascade, they get it into Parsons, and did they get the timeout in? Looks like, yeah, that's what they did. Full timeout into Parsons. So Covenant was immediately looking to foul. So how about that? 0.6 comes off the clock. Covenant still has that foul to give.
Yeah, I thought maybe he dribbled to where they were going to foul him, but they dribbled to that spot to call a timeout.
It would have been better if Cascade, I think, takes the foul, and then right after they can just call the timeout.
Yeah, well, at least now Coach Carpenter, I think, in his mindset right now is, okay, now we got the ball in a position where we've practiced the sidelines out of bounds play before, that if they can get a quick hitter off a pass and eliminate the opportunity for Covenant to foul. And if you're Covenant, if they dribble, you foul immediately on the dribble, but you cannot foul in that shooting motion because it could potentially be a 4-point play. So switch off. If it's me, I switch all screens and just put pressure. I'm not a foul guy with 3. I would rather play it out, but that's just me, and I'm a little old school when it comes to that stuff.
You never know what could happen. And for Cascade, how do they attack this? They get it into Parsons, and he will immediately throw up a 3. It's an air ball, tipped around, final buzzer. So Cascade goes for the quick trigger. The 3 is off the mark from Parsons, no foul called, and Covenant Christian has their 2nd win of the holiday tournament.
Well, they escaped this one. They hung on after leading by 15. But I tell you, give credit to Cascade. They didn't stop battling. They made a nice run in the 3rd quarter, got it all the way down to a 1-possession game. And our Piper Logistics player of the game we're going to give to Jamison Laughlin. Laughlin had 10 points, really started the game off well. For Covenant with the baseline 3, hit another 3 from the other baseline, had some nice drives in the second half. Felt like he also played some really solid defense for Covenant Christian as well, and we'll give him our player of the game.
Covenant Christian wins it 49-46 over Cascade. And now we will await our next game, which will take place right after this. So stick around for that. We'll step aside, but the broadcast will stay right here, and we'll be ready for our 2nd game of the night here on IndianaSRN. Again, our final score, Covenant Christian 49 over Cascade 46.
We can't have NBA basketball without the ball itself. So today we are going to go balls deep into the history of the ball, starting all the way back to the game's inception. Let's begin the animated timeline. The game of basketball was invented in the year 1891. Dr. James Naismith was its creator. Now, the game back then was much different than it is today. I'll save the evolution of the game itself for a later video. This video's topic is the balls. And the ball in 1891 was, well, a soccer ball. Now, soccer balls themselves were built a little different than they are today, but the important takeaway is that this ball actually wasn't used for dribbling. Dribbling wasn't a concept for basketball until 1897. As the game became more popular and grew, the ball had no business being a soccer ball. So in 1894, Dr. James Naismith reached out to A.G. Spalding to invent the first basketball ball. Spalding at the time was famous for making American footballs and Major League Baseball gloves. And you can totally see the inspiration of the design, as this ball is laced up at the center like a football. Fun fact about this ball specifically, to celebrate its 125th anniversary, Spalding remade the ball in 2019 around the same time as the Raptors-Warriors finals. As the years went on, basketball got so popular it was able to have its own league formed around the sport. And in 1937, the NBL, or National Basketball League, was formed in the United States, and they needed their own NBL ball. This ball was no longer built like a pigskin football, as the laces are removed for optimal dribbling. The NBA, National Basketball Association, was founded in 1946, but it wasn't till around 1950 when the game got a much upgraded ball. The game got so popular that it started bringing attention of many new fans showing up to watch the games. Keeping up with, spectating, and watching the pace of the game as a fan was difficult, as the brown ball color was hard to keep up with rapid court movement on the brown floor. So around 1950, the ball was remade into an orange ball. The orange ball was much more flashy and visually appealing to fans, as they can easily see it dart around the court. Decades later, the game ball kept evolving. Around 1971, the NBA changed the design of the ball from 4 leather panels to 8 leather panels. Having 8 leather panels instead of 4 allowed for a much better grip on the ball itself for better dribbling techniques. And 1 year later, in 1972, the first synthetic leather ball was made, which made producing the ball much cheaper. And now we bring you the iconic NBA ball that many of you know and love, the 1984 Spalding Larry O'Brien official Spalding ball. To quote Heritage Auctions, Wilson had the NBA contract to produce basketballs, which ended following the '83 finals. Also moving out of the office of commissioner was Larry O'Brien. Eventually, Spalding picked up the contract and David Stern assumed the role as top man on February 1st, 1984. This ball is the ball of choice that many fans around the world prefer while playing basketball. Moving on to a slight adaptation of this ball was that failure of a ball in 2006. This 06 ball was made out of cross-traction microfiber, but the ball only lasted for the beginning of the season, as many players complained that it roughed up their fingers, skin, and was overall a terrible ball. The ball was quickly discontinued, and the NBA went back to the classic leather ball. Going forward in the future, coming up for the 2021-2022 NBA season, Wilson will replace Spalding as the official NBA basketball. Now, the leather used for the balls themselves will still come from the same provider, so they won't physically feel any much different. Also, the balls will keep their 8-panel configuration and performance specifics as the ball that is currently used, so it's pretty much the same game with a different name.
We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to IHSAAFoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts. Find a location near you. Now.
This is the Frells family's land. When the sun comes out, the kids run and play right there. This used to be a shed. Now, it's where they get breakfast. This is more than just land. It's home. The Frells family runs with us on a John Deere 1 Series tractor. His land isn't the only thing that should live on for generations. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere 1 Series for more.
Visit Reynolds Farm Equipment, your hometown John Deere dealer today at reynoldsfarmequipment.com.
You're good at making big announcements. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop knocking on wood.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Craving comfort fresh food made from scratch daily? Check out Aspen Creek Grill. Located across from Hamilton Town Center and beside the Holiday Inn, we offer family farm-raised premium black Agnes steaks hand-cut daily, creamy pastas, salmon chicken, and fall-off-the-bone ribs. Start with our famous powwow shrimp appetizer, and don't miss our refreshing drinks. Family-friendly or a great night out with friends. Aspen Creek Grill. Aspen Creek Grill, Noblesville. Call 317-559-3300.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment, whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. He said he loved me. My friends told me it wasn't a big deal. They thought he was so cool. But they didn't know what he wanted me to do.
All I ever wanted was to feel loved. You have no idea the kind of pressure I felt to take things to the next level. Things were moving so fast. I was basically the only person in the freshman class who hadn't done it yet. So, we did.
I loved him.
I thought she loved me.
My health class had CPR at school. I stayed after class to talk with the instructor about it. They showed me that it didn't have to be that way.
They showed me that I get to make my own choices.
There is another way.
That's the best thing CPR gives you. Another way. A better way.
A healthy way. Sometimes you don't see it because you're in your own world, but they don't make you feel bad. They talk to you like a real person, and they save kids from really unhealthy decisions. They tell the truth, and they know what they're talking about. So yeah, my life was different. I started to choose the better way.
I honestly don't know where I'd be or what I'd be doing had it not been for CPR.
You want a career that creates experiences that are impossible to forget.
By studying sports and events at IUPUI, you'll get hands-on experience in and out of the classroom. And with Indy as your classroom, there are high-profile events, sports franchises, hotels, museums, and large organizations across the city to engage, educate, and enlighten your student journey before you graduate. There isn't a better city than Indianapolis to get the experience you need to prepare you to handle any event, big or small. It all starts here.
High school sports fans, welcome back to Game Time, to pure spirits, to pure sport. Welcome back to high school sports.
Fans, I'm IHSAA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and I just want to say, welcome back.
This is Game Time. This is Indiana high school sports. This is your IHSAA.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
After the Marine Corps, I was diagnosed with PTSD and became homeless for 15 years. Like a hermit living on the street, I just existed. I came to Wheeler Mission. Wheeler operates on a culture of kindness. Going through their programs reminded me that my meaning in life is to serve God. God set me free from anxiety and depression. Before Wheeler, I just existed, but today I live.
Sprinkles if you got them. Jack's Donuts, find a location near you, now.
Hey conductor, how about something new? You played this last year. Come on, get your head out of your sacks. Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
My kid heard that solo!
You see my kid?
IndianaSRN is on the air. Happy holidays from our staff here at IndianaSRN as we welcome you to the Hoosier Shooting Academy Holiday Tournament here at Morristown High School, the Hive Gymnasium. This is our last game of the evening. It features the Bishop Chatard Trojans against the South Dearborn Knights. This game is brought to you by IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences. Begin your journey today. The Morales Group, building better futures one story at a time. Bertner Electric, serving greater Indianapolis and the surrounding counties. Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation, we do it all. And by Reynolds Farm Equipment, serving our customers and community since 1955. along with producer Chuck Levine, cameraman Joel Mears, and my partner Jarrett Lewis. This is Clark Chafin, and we welcome you again to the Hive in this Morristown Holiday Classic. We take a look at the games. Game 1 was won by Cascade 56-30. Game 2, Covenant Christian beat Milan 66-38. Game 3 was a Bishop Chatard win 57-54. And New Washington and South Dearborn. South Dearborn won 59-54 in double overtime. And in the game that we just had, Covenant Christian will advance to tomorrow's championship, Jarrett, with a 49-46 victory over Cascade. We'll bring you all 4 games tomorrow on IndianaSRN. But, Jarrett, let's take a look at these two teams, Bishop Chatard and South Dearborn. They both had close games. Chatard played at 1, South Dearborn played at 2:30, and really they were closely contested. Does that affect your legs a little bit different in Game 2?
Yeah, especially for South Dearborn, who had to go basically play an extra quarter, right? They go into double overtime. You're already tired after the fourth quarter, so you add on a whole extra quarter of play on top of that, and we'll see how much that really does affect them, how much rest they were able to get. You know, this is we're guessing a very, very well-coached team, and they probably have a good idea of, hey, how to take care of your bodies after any sort of game. So you add on that you're playing another game the same exact day. You got to prepare yourselves the right way. You got to hydrate. You got to stay focused and be ready for some more action here tonight.
And maybe you're going to have some players step up, go a little bit deeper possibly in that bench, and from some players that could step up that maybe haven't had that big of a role to this point in the season. Let's take a look and break down these two teams, Jarrett. We'll start with Bishop Chatard. They are 4-1 now in the season after their victory this morning. Coach Kenny Roseman's 19-9 in his second year at Chatard and 77-80 in his 8th year overall. Really, their only loss was to Covenant Christian by 15. So I think they really want to win this game to maybe have another crack at Covenant Christian.
Oh, of course. You add on any sort of, added juice already to any sort of basketball game. You want to come prepared and be ready for any game, but you have an opportunity to match up again with a team that you're pretty familiar with, pretty close by, in Covenant Christian, a team that we just saw plays tremendous defense, and limiting your opponents to under 50 points is always a good start. This Bishop Chatard team, very experienced, very old, a lot of seniors, a lot of juniors for Coach Roseman. So, these guys are very familiar with each other. This is a pretty athletic team, too. And they got a late start into their season because of how good the football team did. So they only have, those 4 or 5 games under their belt. So you got to think they're probably a little tired, too, just like South Dearborn. So you can't use that as an excuse, but try to use your athleticism and that experience that you have just been able to grow with over the coming years. This is a team that just plays tremendously well together. We'll get a chance to watch them play throughout this entirety of the season.
If we take a look at some of the key players for Chatard, we think Ethan Roseman, the 6-foot freshman, averaging nearly 15 points a game. Robert Davidson, one of those seniors that you were speaking of, averaging 14 points per contest, leads them in rebounding. Colin Guy has really been a spark plug off the bench for the Trojans. I don't know if he'll get the start here or not in this evening's ball game, but he's in a double-digit scorer as well. Sam Lewis has hit some big shots. We saw him earlier in the season hit a big 3, a kind of a game winner against Heritage. So then Will McAllister hit 2 big free throws this afternoon to seal that victory. Meanwhile, if we take a look at South Dearborn, Coach Patrick Cosgrove, 6-2 in his first year. Ryan Willoughby is a 6'2 senior. Willoughby averaging 24 points a game, leads them in rebounding, and he really is what makes them go. When they need a basket, they're going to go to Ryan Willoughby.
We got some good matchups, really. When you look at the size, the athleticism we already mentioned of Chatard, but they also have some length. Guys at 6'3", 6'4". South Dearborn can counter that with some length of their own. Xander Schwab is 6'4". He can step out and shoot the 3. He's got some length there. He is right there, number 13. And you mentioned Willoughby. Again, the experience, too. This South Dearborn team, they're going to start a majority of juniors and seniors, with Willoughby being one of those lead guys. So these two teams match up fairly well. We haven't seen South Dearborn at all this year. We've seen Chatard just a little bit. But I think we're in for a treat. I think we're in for more of a high-scoring affair than what we just saw a couple of minutes ago.
South Dearborn only has 2 losses on the season. Those are both against conference teams. Franklin County and Connorsville, they came up short to both those. Offensively, they're averaging 54 points per contest. Defensively, only giving up 41. One thing that I noticed that Coach Cosgrove did effectively in their game earlier today here at Morristown was they really mixed up their defenses well. They went from a 1-3-1, and a zone will help, right? Kind of protect some guys and keep guys a little more rested.
That's always dangerous as an opponent when you're going up against a team that is so well coached that they can mix in a lot of different looks defensively. You have to attack each defense properly, whether it's zone, of course, man, you can run just about anything, but going against a zone defense against a really long athletic team like what Chatard is, that could be really, really tough to handle.
Well, we're getting ready to have our starting lineups announced. Let's go ahead and listen to our PA announcer as he introduced the starting lineups for both squads.
Senior guard number 2, Sam Lewis. Senior center number 4, Nolan Stifler. A senior forward number 11, Robert Davidson. Senior forward number 13, Drew Knapp. And Trojans coach is Kenny Roseman. And now introducing the South Dearborn Knights, senior guard number 11, Ryan Willoughby. A junior guard number 2, Hudson Shackelford. Junior guard number 1, Brody Tiki. A sophomore forward number 13, Xander Schwab. A junior forward number 5, Adam Kunkel. Coach for the Knights, Patrick Cosgrove. Referees for today's game, Bill Lowry, Kevin McGahey, and Cody Billbaum.
So there you have our starting lineups. Bishop Chatard will be in the road blues with the white name and number and stripes down the side. South Dearborn will be in the home whites with the black numbers and the red stripes down the side as we get set for the last game to bring you for tonight. Davidson controls the tap to Knapp, and we're underway. Sam Lewis will bring across the timeline, and the Knights will go into man-to-man. Roseman gets a ball screen. Switch, cut off nicely by the defense.
Like Roseman, I think if he had some more space, he could have found cutting Davidson in the lane.
Davidson gets the rebound, goes back up with it, and will draw the foul. You know, we saw a little bit of that in the first game, Jarrett, where I feel like tired legs, you got to really concentrate even more so on those short little bunnies.
And another thing, too, if you're South Dearborn, you don't want to give up offensive rebounds to the Chatard team because guys like Roseman are too athletic. You have to put a body on them, or else they'll just jump up. They'll out-jump you and grab those offensive rebounds. He had 3 chances to score right there, and he ends up converting both free throws.
Quick 2-0 lead here by the Trojans. And South Dearborn has it the other way. Trap the ball screen. Tiki finds the open Schwab. Can't get it to fall. Loose rebound. Is controlled by Stifler. Nice up-ahead pass to Knapp for 2.
Well done, and it starts off with Stifler getting it to one of your ball handlers, and then immediately looking up the floor for Chatard was Davidson. He found it, his guy running down the floor in Knapp.
Nice bounce pass to lead him through. Willoughby to Tiki. Cut off nicely there by Stifler. Picks up his dribble. Chatard in the passing lanes. Willoughby drives and scores. Ryan Willoughby, his first 2.
Yeah, Willoughby had a chance. He could have dumped it down to Schwab, but I think he was actually trying to make the defender think he was going to do that. And this is a guy that he can finish around the rim, contact or not.
And almost a 5-second call. It was a good perimeter defense by Bishop Chatard, but better offense there as Willoughby gets to the basket. Lewis circles around. They'll reset out to Roseman. Chatard working it around the perimeter. Underneath is Roseman, wide open, all alone for 2, Ethan Roseman.
It's one of those instances where it looks like the bottom of the defense shifted up a little bit too much, and all their eyes were up towards the top of the key, and then Roseman is just sneakily kind of fading in behind in the background.
3 possessions for Chatard, 6 points. Three on the other way. Counted good for Xander Schwab stepping out.
Yeah, Schwab makes it look real easy. A nice, smooth delivery, real calm in that shot.
Roseman answers. So you're right, Jarrett. We're going to have a little more offense, it seems like. A little more firepower shots going down here in the first 2.5 minutes.
I tell you what, also, too, Clark, is you can tell the really high, good basketball IQ of Roseman, as here's a steal by Davidson.
Nice pass by both Davidson and Roseman, and Stifler gets the transition basket. Good unselfish basketball.
Yeah, really good by Roseman. 3-on-1, easy transition offense for Chatard.
And an extra step by Tiki. And here we see a transition pass. Jarrett, break it down for us.
Well, first, Davidson off and running, and he's a pretty good ball handler. And then Roseman is really quick with the trigger. He almost taps
Hot
it.
potato.
That's exactly right. Taps it over to his man to get the assist. But going back to Roseman, if you would have asked me what grade he's in, not a freshman, I wouldn't think so.
Doesn't have the body of a freshman, and we've seen Chatard in a game or two. He really doesn't speed up. He's so smooth. As a nice drive by Stifler, changes hands in the air to finish.
Stifler's a real strong body too. He's going to be a tough guy to try to handle in that paint. Really good with the ball too, putting it on the floor.
Got downhill and got to the basket. Sam Lewis, some tight pressure defense. And they'll call a reach-in foul. Really, South Dearborn hasn't had many possessions where you felt like they've been in a rhythm offensively to either run their sets or their offense.
And everything looks so business as usual on the end for Bishop Chatard, whether it's turning defense into offense or running through their sets. Everything has been extremely smooth.
Willoughby glides and takes the contact. Ryan Willoughby's second field goal, and he'll go to the line for and one, and they'll call that foul.
Foul is on number 13, Drew Knapp.
On Drew Knapp.
The team's
second team foul is checking in is Scott Simler, and Sam Lewis will take a seat. As Ryan Willoughby goes to the line to see if he can convert a three-point play. He doesn't. Davidson pulls down the rebound. Roseman to Davidson on the pick and roll. Drives, kicks. Cut off again. Roseman now for three. Ring it up.
Even with a much lengthier defender closing out on him, Roseman, I think, recognizes that, got the three up quickly. Kind of put some awkward spin on that too, Clark, if he catch another look at that three-pointer, but he makes it work.
If it goes in, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. Doesn't matter how it goes in, as long as it goes in. Doesn't matter how you win the game.
Right. You just need to score one more point than the other team. Tiki on the drive. Kicks it over to Kunkel. Good defensive pressure in the half court. A little out of control. Tiki shot fakes and drives. Step back three is good.
Boy, well done by Tiki. Davidson with really good recovery, moving kind of laterally to cut him off. But Tiki with a pretty good package there on the step back.
And he had to shoot that over an extended Davidson, right? I mean, Davidson went out to contest that 1-3-1, and they answer in the corner. Drew Knapp, his second field goal.
They switched up the defense, Clark. South Dearborn trying something different, but it doesn't matter because with Knapp, I mean, that's a pretty good spot to find an open look.
Turnover, Davidson coast down, can't get it to fall. Offensive rebound collected by Knapp. Stifler shot fakes. Knapp for another three, short. Davidson won't be denied and gets the offensive rebound and is fouled.
Davidson was 99% boxed out on that play, and he still found a way to fight over the man and go after the ball.
He didn't stop moving, and that's a great call by you, Jarrett. He just kept his body going, and he made a play. Now he makes the free throw. Because here's this three-pointer off this 1-3-1.
There's the Roseman three, right wing. Just really good shooting for Chatard so far. 19 points in the. We're not even.
Yeah,
we're most of the way through the first quarter, but in our first game we saw 17 points at the half. Yeah, by Cascade. And Chatard has just been hot from the beginning.
3-on-1. Willoughby gives it to Adam Gaynor, who just checked in.
But you got to find a way to get points there.
Yes.
Yeah, 3-on-1.
That was gift wrapped, and then they just didn't execute. But I guess the big thing for the Knights is they didn't turn it over either. So they still maintain possession. 2 minutes to go. Chatard up 19-10, and they're going to call a foul as Willoughby was driving to the basket. That'll be the third team foul on Chatard. It's checking in the game's Wade McAllister.
For the Trojans, number 3, Colin Dodd, and number 33, Wade McAllister.
And we'll have a timeout. And it's a full timeout. We'll take it with them. 19-10 with 2 minutes left here at the Hive.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe is a new spot for breakfast and lunch, open Wednesday through Sunday. Try our classic breakfast or sweet baked goods. Located in Lawrence, Indiana. Check out Tam's at 6427 Oak Landing Road or carry out at 317-760-1640. 3 on the way by Tiki is no good. And good hustle by Kunkel. It'll be out of bounds.
That read was a mouthful to say.
It was. I wish I had some Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe in my mouth.
Yes.
Appreciate Tam's for their sponsorship as South Dearborn goes back to that 1-3-1 to try to slow up this Chatard offense. Colin Guy has checked in for the Trojans, number 3 with the ball. They're looking to try to find. That's one thing this 1-3-1 zone will do, Jared, is really kind of slow down the offense as the Knights look to trap in the corner. 3 on the way is short by Guy. Willoughby on the rebound, and they'll call Guy on the foul.
I think they just said he was out of bounds when he touched it. Interesting call.
Well, so no foul on Guy. Still 3 on the team. A minute 16 left. Shackelford over to Willoughby. Guarded closely by Guy. Bishop Chatard in the man-to-man defense. Willoughby rejects the ball screen and kick out. And they reset. They working around the perimeter. Uncle over to Willoughby. He'll load a 3 up this time. Online. Just a little off hustle. And looks like Adam Gaynor came up with it, but threw it away. He thought Shackelford was going to cut one way, and he kind of stopped.
Yeah, I like the hustle on the part of the Knights, but still haven't seen, I think, a full, complete offensive possession where they look 100% comfortable. A lot of it's been Willoughby trying to find something, trying to create some offense mostly on his own.
And you think he might have that sense that the offense isn't really flowing and running like it should, that he may have to take a little bit more on his shoulders. As Chatard works it around with 20 seconds left. Davidson drives baseline. Nice jump stop and score. Davidson now with 5 and 15 seconds remain.
Davidson's really good about avoiding the defender in that jump stop too.
Did you say jump stop like that? I would have broken something. Guarded closely by Knapp. Here's a drive, a kick for 3, and they're going to call a charge. Colin Guy steps in and takes the contact for the charge.
Takes it, prevents the open 3 look from getting off right before the buzzer. So Chatard just has 0.6.
And that'll be the end of the first quarter. Chatard coming out strong and leads 21-10. We'll come back for the second quarter here at the Morristown High School Holiday Shootout.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Well, welcome back to the Hoosier Shooting Academy Holiday Tournament here at Morristown High School as we get ready for second quarter action. Chatard 21-10, and Jarrett, we were talking off air. This feels like a very important time of the game, although it's just the beginning of the second quarter for South Dearborn to stay connected to the Trojans.
Yeah, you're in dangerous waters right now. If you don't have a good quarter, a good start to the quarter at the very least, you know, this is a Chatard team. They can really take off and run. It can all of a sudden become a 20-point game in the blink of an eye.
Aiden Ortega is in the game for the Trojans as he guards the ball. Reed Thornton also in for South Dearborn as they're trying to get some offensive movement. Kunkel swing it over to Thornton, to Tiki. A little more patience here by the Knights. Long pass, almost got picked. Here's the skip, Tiki for 3. He's got his second one. Brody Tiki now with 6. 21-13. Davidson on the drive. Take it to McAllister. And they'll reset. Similar. Man-to-man defense now as South Dearborn changes out of the 1-3-1 and a traveling violation. Good call there by the official.
Entering in for the Trojans, number 1.
Here's a look at that charge that was taken by Guy, and that was right before the end of that first quarter.
So much about good defense is getting to the spot. I'm just moving on the pass and always constantly moving as Willoughby takes a hard fall. And McAllister tries to draw the charge. He's going to need a moment as he landed awkwardly on his back. Couldn't catch himself as the athletic trainer's going to come out there for Morristown and take a look. Jack Cherry Insurance Agency we suggest that you contact his team for all your insurance needs, whether it's family, car, home, or business. It's an insurance company to serve you. Contact them today at 317-894-7000. We'll take a short break. 6:33 left before halftime.
Burtner Electric Incorporated has been proudly serving our residential and commercial customers with quality electrical repair for over 33 years. We are fully licensed and insured in electrical wiring and electrician service packages. You'll receive a competitive assessment whether you're a homeowner or a business owner, first-time or long-time customer. We offer free estimates for any new project. Call our licensed and experienced electricians today.
Welcome back. 6:33 here in quarter 2, 21-13. A blocking foul was called. Will be able to walk off on his own power, so that's good news for the Knights. Leading scorer for South Dearborn as they inbound the ball. Shackelford checked back into the game. So he'll take Willoughby's spot. Man-to-man defense again by the Trojans. McAllister with a deflection and gets it ahead to Davidson, and he'll go up and finish. Robert Davidson.
Davidson, he was looking for the and one there, and McAllister, how about the active hands from the big fella? Didn't give up on the play. He reached in the first time, got a piece of it, and that kind of led him to actually picking up the steal.
Starting the transition offense, early game offense, easy scoring.
Have to limit those turnovers. Like we said when this quarter started, Chatard has that ability to really take off with the game.
Guy up ahead, and a nice pass by Guy to Wade McAllister.
Just like that, right on cue. I mean, they are down the floor in the blink of an eye.
And good look ahead by Scotty Simler. Got the defensive rebound. Eyes were immediately up. Found Colin Guy, who then found cutting McAllister for finish. A deep three for Tiki's good.
My goodness.
Whoa.
Tiki's got a hot hand. He is warming up.
That was from range, Brody Tiki, his third three.
And Tiki kind of struggled at the beginning of this game, had some tough defense on him. But his ball handling has picked up, and he's made up with it with superb three-point shooting.
He gets his hand in there, but Davidson comes up for the loose ball, Johnny on the spot. Robert Davidson scores.
Chatard right now winning all the 50-50 balls, winning the turnover margin.
Tiki drives baseline, cut off by Simler. Wade McAllister, active hands, knocks it away from Schwab. And let's see where the South Dearborn offense goes without their leading scorer. Tiki has it at the top. Good defense, help side defense by Roseman as he cuts off the drive. A little flex cut, try to get it into Tiki, and it's wide. Tough angle to throw that into the post.
Yeah, it is a tough angle because Guy, has pretty good on-ball defense. And so you kind of want to throw it away from him, but Tiki can't run it down. There's the loose ball that Davidson picks up again. It's real fun when this Chatard team is active as they are. They're fun to watch winning those loose balls.
Substitutions, Drew Knapp's checking in for Chatard. And it looks like Adam Gaynor also checks in for South Dearborn. Halfway through the second quarter. Man-to-man defense by South Dearborn. Similar drives, and they'll say it's knocked out of his hands. It'll stay here. Out of bounds underneath. And they'll call a traveling violation. I think it was a good call. I think he picked his pivot foot up before he got that ball out of his hands and dribbled.
Yeah, I think so too. And Davidson is so surprised when he doesn't usually make plays like that.
Well, he's so quick. I think he's.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's almost
too
quick.
Too quick for his own good there. Corbin Castee is checked in for South Dearborn as they look to try to get some offense with Willoughby out of the game. Good defense, a trap. Shackelford gets rid of it. To Thornton. Skip pass is stolen away. And a turnover.
Pass like that's just never going to be there. It's going to look awfully pretty. It's going to have to be a little bit quicker than that because Chatard, they know it. Once they try to do that double team in that spot, they're going to try to create a turnover. They're going to be able to react and get back towards that bottom line and get those steals.
Full timeout by South Dearborn. We'll take it with them. Chatard up 11.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
Welcome back to the Hive at Morristown High School for the Morristown Holiday Tournament. Jack's Donuts has great donuts made and served fresh every day, plus great tasting coffee. Stop by Jack's Donuts today. Jack's Donuts, the official donut of IndianaSRN. Chatard with the basketball. 27-16. Davidson drives, and he'll go to the line as he absorbs some contact. He'll go to the free throw line where he's 3 for 4 on the day.
It's awfully quiet in
here. It is quiet as we take a look at his foul as he draws to the basket.
Yeah, South Dearborn really, they haven't shown that they have a good response for Davidson. Just, you know, how crazy athletic he is, and you can't really play man against him. You don't have anybody to match up. And then against the zone defense, Chatard just as a team moves the ball around so well.
Very unselfish, and they get a lot of people involved. And when you have good point guard play, that they can distribute that ball. Good things happen. As Isaac Fisher checks in for Chatard, but a big substitution there is Ryan Willoughby checked back in for South Dearborn. Willoughby, the leading scorer, gets the ball on the block. He'll attack the rim and can't get it to go. And he'll be called for the foul as Fisher goes in for the rebound.
Well, it's good to see Willoughby back out there playing.
And it looked like he's moving well, right? I mean, if it's you don't want to speculate, but it looked like where he landed and was grabbing. Boy, if it's a back spasm, lower back thing, that's a lot of movement. It's a nice fake and drive by Stifler. The shot fake allows him a lane to go to the basket. He'll draw the foul.
Boy, Stifler we've seen multiple occasions where he's getting the ball and immediately looking to get his defender up in the air, some sort of shot fake. He's really good at that. And then driving beyond the defender, getting to the rack.
Stifler to the line. He has 4 points, matching his number. And it's good. Let's take a look at that shot fake and drive as you were talking about, Jarrett.
Got Schwab up in the air, and then after that, it's a lot of smaller guys down there. And Stifler, he might run you over, but he's going to try to find a way to still score.
Misses that second one. Willoughby on the rebound. They push the ball up with the Knights, and Shackelford will have it at the top of the key. Under 2 minutes here in quarter 2. Nice cut, and they're going to give him the and one is Shackelford. Hudson Shackelford's first point. Nice play there by South Dearborn on the back cut.
That's exactly right, moving without the basketball. And they were looking that way the entire time for Shackelford.
And his free throw attempt in and out. No good. Rebound controlled by Stifler. And quickly on the offensive end is Bishop Chatard. Kick in the corner to Knapp. Over to Fisher. To the wing. Similar drive, spins. Shot up and good. Scotty Simler.
Real good ball movement. A lot of the South Dearborn players were on, towards our end of that half court. So a good cross-court pass. Terrific drive there from Simler.
Tiki with the pass. Nice deflection away by Stifler as he runs the floor. Roseman up and good it to go. Ethan Roseman.
Again, it may not be pretty, but if it goes in, you'll take the 2 points any way you can get them.
They give you 2 steps. He used them wisely and able to create space. Finish around the rim. 33-18. Tiki has 3 threes. And in the gym range. He backs up under 30 seconds to play. And looks like South Dearborn is content with just having the last shot here of the first half. 12 seconds, they're going to get their offense going. Shackelford with it. Kunkel, there's a baseline screen. Willoughby can't get it to fall. And a nice outlet, Simler. And he gets it at the end of the quarter. Scott Simler, body control, knocks it down. And it's a 35-18 advantage for Chatard. Let's take a look at that replay, Jarrett.
Not giving up on the play first. Saving it was Stifler. And then Simler even looked up at the clock. He said, I got enough time to rise up. Nothing but net. Boy, just a complete first half from Chatard. Both ends of the floor. They turned defense into offense. Terrific shooting, terrific ball handling. Couldn't ask for anything better, really.
We'll take a break and come back and have a halftime guest for you, then bring you second half action. This is the Morristown Holiday Basketball Tournament on IndianaSRN.
Without the basket, the sport of basketball would just be ball, and no one wants to play with balls if baskets aren't involved. So in this video, we're going to go over the history and evolution of the basket. A little while back, we talked about the history of the ball, so you know where to go if you want to watch that video. This is a basket-only program. Basketball was invented in the winter of 1891. James Naismith wanted to invent a sport that can be played indoors during the winter time at YMCA, and so he did just that. He created the first basketball hoop with a broken peach basket that he placed 10 feet into the air. Why 10 feet, you might be wondering? Well, there's no significant reason for the sport itself. This was more so a coincidence, as he hung the peach baskets on the railing of the indoor running track at the YMCA gym in Springfield, Massachusetts, and that railing was 10 feet off the ground. Of course, that height stuck for the majority of its history, but what did change significantly is the basket. The baskets at or around this time had no hole and needed a ladder to be scooped out, or when they did add a hole a few years later, there was a tiny hole at the bottom that had to be poked out with a staff. By the year 1893, it was time to add a backboard, but the backboard was not invented for the players. It was invented to stop fans in the balcony from interfering with the ball. They were originally made out of chicken wire, so these weren't really effective for bank shots or rebounds. But that didn't stop players from trying to utilize the backboard, because on February 2nd in that same year, a box on the backboard was added, and this was used to assist players to aim towards the basket, but the chicken wire was starting to be an issue. So we fast forward to the start of the 20th century. The basket became a net, and in 1901, the net had a metal rim. But the net also had no bottom, so after every shot was made, someone had to come and poke the ball out. And man, what the heck is chicken wire still doing here? Thankfully, by the year 1904, wooden boards became mandatory. And finally, by the year 1906, the grand invention of cutting a hole at the bottom came into fashion, and we got the first tangible net with a solid backboard. In 1909, glass boards became more and more common, and this newfound strength slowly but surely led to something you may know as the dunk. By the year 1912, we finally got the iconic nylon net. So now when a shot is made, you can hear that crisp whooshing noise with that beautiful sound of a nothing but net basket. Now that's not why they were made. They weren't made to have an amazing noise. This design with the thick knots and the strong nylon just allowed the ball to fall directly in the center and not flop around after a score was made. As the sport of basketball became more and more popular, recreational and even professional sports leagues started to form, and these leagues wanted to create regulated dimensions for the backboard, backboard square, and rim. The NCAA and the NBA at the time thought it would be a great idea to have the same regulations. These regulations are a 6 feet wide and a 3.5 feet tall backboard. As for the square, it needs to be 24 inches wide and 18 inches tall. The line of the square needs to be 2 inches thick, and the square needs to be placed at the center above the rim. As for the rim needs to extend 6 inches from the backboard, and the front part of the rim must be 24 inches from the backboard, which leaves an 18-inch diameter for the ball to fall through. This was the norm for the main bulk of basketball history, but during the 1950s, it was not uncommon for the hoops to be 12 feet tall instead of 10, even in the NBA. In 1954, the Hawks and Lakers played a game with 12-foot rims, and you can thank this achievement to NBA legend George Mikan. He was so good at the game, the league wanted to make it more of a challenge for him. But only the opposite happened. The shorter players had an even harder time scoring, and Mikan had no problem scoring on 12 feet. So the hoop returned to its 10 feet standard. Beyond that point, the hoop stayed relatively the same, but a lot of power dunkers kept breaking the hoops with their amazing dunks. So around the 80s, hydraulic systems were implemented into the hoop, so if they do crash, the hoop would come down slowly. This was a nice idea until a man named Shaquille O'Neal came to town. In 1993, Shaq was busting these hydraulic hoops, so the NBA had to weld the hoops from the base to be even stronger. And now the hoops are almost indestructible, but every now and then we get some power dunkers to damage these hoops. For example, DeAndre Jordan was able to bend the rim, and Dwight Howard was able to knock the shot clock off of its balance. But beyond that, it is getting harder and harder to break a modern NBA hoop. Maybe Zion Williamson might have the Hulk-like strength to force the next evolution in hoop strength, but until then, this has been the evolution and history of the basketball hoop.
Welcome back to the Hoosier Shooting Academy Holiday Tournament at Morristown High School, the Hive, where Bishop Chatard leads 35-18 over South Dearborn. Our halftime guest is Quentin Batten, and Quentin is a assistant coach here for the Morristown Yellow Jackets. Quentin's got a great, interesting story. Quentin, first of all, tell us about yourself and your role here for Morristown High School.
I'm in my first year coaching, just kind of helping out, learning, getting ready for future and coaching.
And you're a Yellow Jacket yourself. You're a recent graduate, right?
Yeah, I moved here my freshman year, played 3 years.
And it's a wonderful community. Quentin's story can be found on WTHR. Quentin, you were diagnosed with leukemia, correct?
Yeah.
And where's that stand right now in terms of your health?
After the first round of the first month of chemo, I've been in remission. So, I mean, I'm still in remission. Everything's good. All the numbers are good.
But you were diagnosed at what point?
Last year, September 17th.
So before basketball season of your senior year. And if I remember correctly, you were able to get in the game, is that right?
Yeah, senior night.
How cool was that?
It was awesome.
I mean, it gives me chills, and I wasn't even here. It gives me chills just to talk to you about that. And now you've begun this journey of coaching and giving back here at Morristown. We talked off air. You coach 5th grade, and you're also an assistant here on the high school team at the varsity level. How do the varsity guys treat you? I mean, are you buddy Quentin, or are you Coach Batten?
There's for sure a mix. There's times where I try to get serious with them, but outside of practice and stuff, we're all pretty cool. So,
is it easier though with the 5th graders to be Coach Batten and be a little tougher on them?
No, my nephew's on that team. So he just thinks he has the right to just
has a little freedom, huh?
Yeah,
has a little freedom.
Yeah, it's for sure easier with the varsity than it is the 5th graders.
Well, and is coaching something that you want to continue to pursue as you keep going on here in life? Maybe a goal to one day be climb up that ladder and be a varsity coach?
For sure. And if it's not coaching, just like being around the game, I mean, that's all I could really ask for.
Have you? I'm someone that's been a part of basketball my whole life. I probably started playing and playing or coaching at some facet since I was about 5. Is that something that you've done your whole life as well?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's great. Well, we appreciate your story and coming on. Any advice to someone that's kind of in your shoes that might have some health issues or have aspirations to be a coach? What kind of advice would you be able to possibly give them?
Just fight every day. There's always a brighter side. You just got to work to get there.
Well, that's a fantastic message, and we appreciate Coach Quentin Batten from the assistant here at Morristown High School. We'll take a short break and come back with second half action. Bishop Chatard leading South Dearborn 35-18 here on IndianaSRN.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
Welcome back to the Hive at Morristown High School. Chuck Levine, producer, battling through some injuries today. We got Joel Mears on camera. He's doing an awesome job. And, of course, my partner, Jarrett Lewis. J. Lou, Clark Chafin, we're here with you at the Hive. Jarrett, 21-10 after 1, 35-18. Chatard stretched an 11-point lead out to 17. Second half kind of thoughts here as we get ready to go.
Well, the Trojans could really do no wrong in that first half. Limited their turnovers. They forced some on South Dearborn's end and ended up turning them into a lot of points. This is a pretty good fast break team. It's also a pretty good team in the half court. And you got guys like Drew Knapp in the corner shooting threes like that.
You feel like this is their 5th game. They're 4-1. You feel like they're starting to find their groove as far as from a basketball standpoint. Only playing 5 games, having some football players. You feel like they're starting to get their feet under them a little bit and get that continuity as Knapp drills a 3 to begin the half, and now transition tries to find Stifler. But
yeah, you saw it there. If that ball doesn't get kicked, Stifler is in the right place at the right time, and Knapp was going to find him.
I think they've done a good job of playing basketball and not just playing and running to spots. Shackelford drives, can't get it to fall. Sam Lewis with the rebound. Up ahead, here comes Davidson, and he'll easily lay it in. Davidson, who had 10 in the first half, his first field goal, and it's now 40-18.
Well, South Dearborn was trying to do a little something of what Bishop Chatard was doing, where it's, get it up the floor fast, get it to one of your good ball handlers, and just as quick, the Trojans flip it right around. Good pass by Lewis.
Tiki can't get it to fall. Knapp gets the rebound, and a nice heads-up play by Hudson Shackelford as he knocks it away from Knapp, and it goes out of bounds off his foot. So the Knights will retain possession. Tiki trying to get it in. Willoughby helps him out and scores. Ryan Willoughby.
And Stifler not very happy with himself because he allowed Willoughby to cut right in front of him and get position like that.
Chatard with the ball. Sam Lewis back in the contest. Guarded closely by Tiki. Bishop Chatard works it around the perimeter. Back cut. Lewis drives, a nice feed to Davidson, and one Robert Davidson.
sitting up here watching this team operate offensively, you just really appreciate the cutting without the basketball, the spacing that they have. Lewis is on the drive, and Davidson knows where he needs to go to get that pass off and set himself up for a good bucket.
Drew Van Vliet has checked in for Chatard. His first action of this ball game. Davidson makes the free throw. He's now 5 of 7 from the free throw line. And Chatard up 23. Trap in the corner. Willoughby kicks it out. Schwab for 3. That's short. Good rebound by number 10. That's Cassidy. Willoughby in the game, and he'll knock another one down.
Anywhere you look at it, you give up second chance opportunities, and more often than not, teams are going to convert on them.
Roseman can't convert. Cassidy gets high for the rebound. Tiki thought about the long throw. Now he does. Schwab for 3. No good. Cassidy again with the rebound. Tiki drives into the trees. Out to Schwab for 3. Again, no good. And a little push in the back. Good call by the official as Adam Kunkel had his forearm in the lower back there of Davidson.
Well, that was a guy that gave him a couple cracks at it. They did with Schwab. Back in the second quarter, I thought Schwab could have been involved just a little bit more. He only had that one made three-pointer. I think that was his only attempt in that first half. And then they're getting him some looks here early on, which is good.
And an opportunity, an alley-oop to Davidson. I thought that pass was intended for Van Vliet. And I think Davidson read it and made a cut to score.
You got to like your chances, whether it's Van Vliet or not. Yeah, they're looking for Davidson the whole way. He got a screen from Roseman right at the elbow. That's a well-drawn play. The pass may have not been on point, but Davidson he adjusts to it.
18 now for Davidson. 8 in this quarter. Through the contact is Willoughby, and he'll draw a foul on Knapp. Willoughby got to the paint. He has 5 points also in this quarter. He misses the first free throw. He'll get a second opportunity here, leading scorer for South Dearborn.
I think Willoughby will try to do this a lot more often throughout the rest of this game, is use his strength, although misses 2 free throws.
Van Vliet chases it down in the corner. They'll get it to Roseman.
Yeah, he did.
They'll call a turnover on Chatard, a carry violation. Sam Feeney checking in. And Simler also checks in for Bishop Chatard. Being up 23, you can be able to rest some guys. If they win, they'll be able to advance to the championship game tomorrow. We'll have that here on IndianaSRN, and it'll be a rematch between Covenant Christian and Bishop Chatard.
Well, it's hard to beat a team twice, and I think Chatard is going to have a little extra pep in their step for that meeting tomorrow.
Willoughby for 3. Got it. Ryan Willoughby.
Still got to finish this game off first if you're a member of the Trojans, and Willoughby is the last guy that you want to see get hot. Really, the offense has been just rolling through him.
Sam Lewis for 3. Ball got touched, I think, partially blocked. And a nice play by Feeney, but here's a steal. Willoughby up, left-hand scoop shot. No, but they're going to call a foul on Simler.
I guess you'll take that. Willoughby is probably going to end up making the layup anyway, so.
Well, he missed his last 2 free throws. Let's see if he can get that back on track. Hey, if you like what you see, let us know. Email us at coach@indianasrn.org. help us get more student athletes on the air. Go to our website, IndianaSRN.org, and hit the donate button on the screen. Indiana SRN, where you're always in the game. Willoughby misses the first free throw. His second one is good. He now has 13. And here comes the Trojans. One thing if you're Chatard, I think you got to be leery of. You got to continue to play. You can't hit that coast button.
That's right. It's pretty. You get to that point where
maybe stop playing a little harder.
You might be thinking about not losing the game more than actually winning the game. You start to play a little different.
Yeah, doing the things that what got you a 23-point lead. You got to make sure that you continue that aggressive nature. Knapp drives, left hand scoop shot, can't get it to fall. Thornton on the rebound. Here comes Willoughby up to Schwab. Schwab scores. Xander Schwab.
Pretty good offense there, just like how they tried it out early on in that third quarter. Getting up and down the floor a little bit quicker, trying to beat the defense to their spots. Well done by Willoughby starting off that fast break.
And Willoughby out most of that second quarter. You can see the impact that he makes for his team. As a driving kick by Lewis, 3 on the way, no good. Willoughby on the rebound.
Still a really good backdoor cut by Lewis to set up that three-point shot.
Willoughby's 3 is short. Davidson on the rebound. Lewis. Willoughby gets the deflection.
Yeah, good thing he does, because South Dearborn had one guy getting back late, trying to go after that steal on Davidson.
3 on the way. Count it. Reed Thornton. And they've cut the 23-point lead down to 14 with just 2 minutes left in the third quarter. And it's a full timeout. We'll take it with them. 46-32, Chatard on top.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
The Hive at Morristown High School, 46-32. Chatard on top of South Dearborn. Jared on a 9-0 run here to cut it to 14. Some players back in for Chatard. Roseman checks back into the game. McAllister, Guy, so some of the other regulars back in.
Yeah, the Knights, they haven't wavered. They've had some pretty good shooting here of late and limiting Chatard to one-and-done possessions.
Roseman drives, pulls up from 15, and gets hit on the arm and goes up for that shot. So that'll take Ethan Roseman to the free throw line.
Yeah, Roseman's been kind of quiet since that first quarter.
And 9 points then. Hasn't scored yet this second half, and he'll go to the line as a 69% free throw shooter. Makes the first one, you're right. He's got a little side spin. I don't think that right hand completely gets under the ball. It's just a little to the right and has a little of that side spin, but there he goes in.
It's funky for sure. You don't really see that.
He kind of turns it as it goes into his motion, but
hey, if it works, it works.
Reggie
right?
Miller didn't have a great shot. He was pretty good. 3 on the way by Schwab at short, loose ball. Davidson comes away with it. Similar will bring it across the timeline to Roseman. They'll reset.
You can see the hesitancy. Ooh, that's a tough word
that
to get out. But
like Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe.
That's right. That's a mouthful. Schwab didn't look like he was fully invested in that shot.
Oh, a bounce pass needed there. Willoughby on the steal. Nice pass back to him by Tiki. Willoughby now with 15.
There you go. Just like that, South Dearborn's kind of using the old Bishop Chatard medicine that was used in the first half. And all of a sudden, cut it down to 14.
Davidson, and they'll call a foul. Nice play by Simler to create that opportunity as we take a look at that last fast break by South Dearborn.
Tiki well-timed on the pass, too. It's hard for a guy to try and guard two guys at once.
Davidson to the free throw line. First toss is in. He's hit his last 3 in a row. And his second one is also good. He's now 8 of 10 from the free throw line and has 20 points. 16-point lead with 35 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Willoughby drives. And he can't get it to go. Davidson on the rebound, the guy. And Roseman will bring it across the timeline, and they'll settle for the last shot.
Or
attack. McAllister on the rebound, gets it up again, and his second effort, Wade McAllister scores. 7 seconds remain, plenty of time to push ahead. Tiki, it's in his range, lets it go. Looking for the foul, but no call. And after 3, Bishop Chatard extends their halftime lead from 17 to 18 as they lead 52-34. We'll come back to Morristown High School and bring you fourth quarter action on IndianaSRN.
You want a career that will transform your life while you change the lives of others by helping them live well. With a health or exercise sciences degree from IUPUI School of Health and Human Sciences, you will gain an in-depth understanding of the healthcare industry while preparing you for a variety of graduate and professional programs in health. And with Indy as your classroom, you will have clinical options within leading hospitals right in our backyard, as well as a degree from Indiana University, reputable leaders in the healthcare industry. It all starts here.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
It's the Hoosier Shooting Academy Holiday Tournament here at Morristown High School. As we are set to bring you fourth quarter action. Winner will go to the championship game, which will take on Covenant Christian tomorrow at 7 p.m. We'll bring all 4 games to you tomorrow here from Morristown. Thanks for tuning in. South Dearborn with the ball. Man-to-man defense, and there's going to be a moving screen called, I believe. Oh, no, there'll be a foul called here on Colin Guy, as he's trying to prevent Willoughby from getting that cross screen. Ooh, nice curl, and they're going to call a moving screen that time on Tiki.
Foul was on number 1, Brody Tiki. His first foul.
16 foul, so Chatard will be shooting free throws now on the common foul the rest of the way, Jarrett.
We haven't seen very many free throws in the couple hours we've been here.
Robert Davidson's 8 of 10. Everybody else really hasn't made a whole lot of trips to the free throw line. Similar with the basketball. Man-to-man defense. Chatard looking to go 5-1 on the season. Similar drives and kicks, and they're going to call a charge. Ryan Willoughby absorbs that contact in position. And the charging foul on Similar. As Shackelford checks in, as well as Kunkel.
I may have seen more charges taken in this game than I have in multiple previous games combined.
Well, I saw a 3-second call earlier today. I haven't seen a 3-second call
that's right.
since probably 2005. So
it's making a comeback.
Yeah, it is. Good pressure defense by Guy. He really gets the frustration on the ball handler as Willoughby drives and is fouled. Sportsmanship is the fair, generous behavior or treatment of others. Be a good sport and respect our coaches, players, and officials and fans. IndianaSRN and the Indiana State Officials Association knows sportsmanship begins with you.
A lot of hand fighting between Tiki and Guy. They're not matched up at the moment.
Tiki step back three, no good. Well, he's got a good-looking shot.
Yeah, he does. He's confident.
I like his rhythm. I think he's a good two-eyed shooter. Has a similar, gets the loose ball and scores. Scotty Similar now with 6.
Basket was good by Similar.
And McAllister on the steal and looks ahead, and they're going to call a blocking foul. McAllister had the right idea. I thought maybe he took 1 or 2 dribbles too far before he passed, but they're going to call a blocking foul, and that'll send McAllister to the line for a 1-and-1.
Number 5, Adam Kunkel.
And Adam Kunkel has committed his 5th foul, and he'll go out of the ball game. Adam Gaynor's going to check in.
For the Knights, number 12,
and Reed Thornton.
Adam Gaynor.
McAllister to the free throw line. Hit some big free throws this morning against South Ripley to help seal the deal as he misses that one. And he was the Piper Logistics player of the game for IndianaSRN this morning. Similar jump stop from 15. Got it.
Nice jump stop in the lane. Not taking it all the way. You like that, don't you?
I do. That's a smart play. Under control. Come to a good jump stop.
That needs to make a comeback, too.
Well, they kind of do. You know, the Euro step's got a little jump stop kind of to it. And
his 4th foul for team's 6th.
Call a foul on Similar, I believe. And now that puts South Dearborn also in the bonus as well in the next foul. Thornton up top to Tiki. And looks like they're trying to run some flex motion there. Back screen, down screen. Here's a drive by Gaynor, and they'll say it's knocked out of bounds off the Bishop Chatard Trojan. Out of bounds underneath.
Tiki better be careful. Referee he's had his eye on him for quite some time now.
3 is off, no good. Willoughby can't control the rebound. Taken out of there by Davidson. Similar runs across the timeline. And he'll reset. 5:20 to go here in the game. Chatard in control right from the beginning, leading by as much as 23. Up 22 right now. Colin Guy drives, hangs in the air, can't get it to fall. McAllister chases it down. And they'll call a foul on the floor, no basket.
Fouls on number 2, Hudson.
Get a chance to score anyways. Here's Chatard, at the same time taking time off the clock, but still going through some offense, getting some drives in even.
You're still getting what you want, right? You're getting a paint. You're getting a shot from the paint.
And winning the loose balls still. 50-50 balls.
Still playing hard. McAllister misses that completely. And that'll, since it didn't hit the rim, automatically go to South Dearborn. Nolan Stifler has checked in. Stifler had 5 points in the first half as well. Hasn't scored in this half. As Isaac Fisher also checks in. Fisher is 6'2" senior. Sam Lewis guarding the ball, also checked in during that timeout as well, or that dead ball situation. Shackelford. Cut off on the drive. Tiki swings it around. Gainer thought about a three, gives it to Willoughby, who drives and scores.
Good extra pass, too. He handed off to Willoughby, and if you're Gainer, you're probably not the first option shooting it beyond the arc, so you draw in that defense, give that extra pass off to Willoughby.
Willoughby has 13 here in this second half and 17 for the game. Fisher shot fake up and can't get it to fall. Quickly down the court. Thornton can't get it to fall on the transition. Similar now drives. Out to Stifler to Lewis. Man-to-man defense. Stifler drives. And they're going to call a foul on Shackelford on the drive, reaching in. And substitutions, Jacob Doherty will check in. And Thomas Wissing.
Number 10, Corbin Cassidy, and number 11, Jacob Doherty.
And Corbin Cassidy also checks in. And Stifler makes the free throw. He'll get a second opportunity. And then gets that one to fall. Stifler now with 7. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay. Aiden Arteaga is going to check back in. And Sam Feeney.
Everybody's going to touch the floor.
And this will get Coach Roseman's team some little extra rest as they'll play tomorrow night. If they hold on here for the last 3 minutes and 30 seconds. As Feeney on the steal, ahead to Lewis. Back to Feeney. Fisher couldn't handle it. And they'll call a foul on Arteaga.
Everybody wants to play unselfish.
Right. It's okay to score the ball, too, but everyone trying to get someone a touch and someone a bucket. That's part of being on a team, right, where everyone works hard. You want certainly your teammates that work hard in practice and may not get a whole lot of scoring opportunities to get that chance as Lewis comes away with the steal. And they'll work it all around the perimeter. 3 minutes remain. Cross screen. Stifler drives, cut off. And I think South Dearborn's also content. Seems like Jared of just playing some man-to-man defense and not trying to foul and extend the game. They've got some of their substitutions in as well. Fisher cut off. Stifler. Here's a baseline shot. No good. Tapped out. Arteaga runs it down. And will set it up.
The game didn't really get out of hand, get away from South Dearborn in that first quarter, even though they were down 11, but it just kept trickling and trickling once it got to that second quarter and into the third.
They made a little run where it was maybe 27-16. They were kind of hanging around, but it was just too much too soon. Chatard started off so strong here at the beginning of the game, and again, as we mentioned, an opportunity for them to take on Covenant Christian, who they came up short against before the holiday season. Ref Reps is designed in partnership with numerous state high school associations, helping officials to hone their skills and promote unity in the officiating world. Ref Reps is for the new official as well as the seasoned veteran. Contact us at refreps.com. Wissing brings it across the timeline. Got some new players in there, different roles. Some of them will have to look to the basket to shoot, not just run their offense. As chased down and stolen by Stifler. He'll slow it up. Tega thought about a three. Now he pulls up from 10 and short. Jacob Doherty with the rebound. Loose ball on the floor. Both teams still playing hard. And they're going to call a loose ball foul for,
I think they got Arteaga.
Arteaga with the foul. And they'll send Peyton Hill to the free throw line.
Number 23, Peyton Arteaga. His second foul, the team's 7th or 8th.
Hill's first chance at the free throw line. Off the back iron, no. Nice rebound by Stifler, and Sam Lewis will bring it across the timeline.
Stifler's had a really solid game today.
He really has. He's taken the ball to the basket just like that.
Showing off his ability, putting the ball on the floor. We saw earlier in that first and second quarter how he got his defenders up in the air, used a nice shot fake to get to the rim.
Three on the way by Thomas Wissing is no good. Sam Lewis will get the rebound. Isaac Fisher with the left-hand score. Isaac Fisher, his first field goal. 64-36. As the waning seconds tick down in our first day of this holiday tournament here at Morristown High School. Such great hospitality they've shown us and to the fans of all the teams. As Lewis will dribble across the timeline, and that'll do it. A 64-36 Bishop Chatard victory. As the final horn sounds, Jarrett, who was our Piper Logistics player of the game?
Robert Davidson, he was terrific. Just right off the get-go, a mismatch for South Dearborn. Had nobody to really counter with him. They tried different looks defensively. He was still able to get to the line. As we saw, he shot 8 of 10 from the free throw line, finished with 20 points, but just a resounding, complete team victory. You know, Davidson did have the 20 points, but collectively, I mean, Bishop Chatard looked really good, really solid. Definitely didn't look like their, you know, 5th or 6th game of the year. They look like they're in mid-season to late-season form.
I think they're starting to get a little more comfortable, getting some continuity in their offense. They got nice contributions tonight from Stifler with 9, Scott Simler with 8, Ethan Roseman in double digits with 11. Drew Knapp also had 8 with a couple of threes. I think for South Dearborn, Ryan Willoughby had finished with 17. That took a toll on them for his injury there in that second quarter where he came out for a little bit. But we look forward to bringing you all the games tomorrow. We'll start at 1 o'clock. We have a 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then the championship game at 7 o'clock, which will be Covenant Christian against Bishop Chatard. Jared, final thoughts?
Terrific day of basketball, a complete day. The crew has been working hard all day, and then we saw 2 pretty good teams in Covenant Christian and Chatard take care of business this afternoon. Looking forward to see how all 4 games go tomorrow and what's been a really good holiday tournament here at Morristown.
Well, we appreciate you tuning in today, and again, we look forward to having you tomorrow. For producer Chuck Levine, cameraman Joel Mears, and my partner Jarrett Lewis, this is Clark Chafin signing off from Morristown High School. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. So long, everybody.